Today we're watching the SpongeBob conspiracy compilation of 8 new mini theories by Bale. And subscribe him, give him some love. Let's see, this is very serious, guys. I don't know what to expect, but I'm curious. It's 4.5 hours long. I don't believe we're gonna watch it all today. Probably we're gonna make parts, but we'll see. Let's see how long will it take to make me crazy.
Can you make more SpongeBob theories?
Where's the new SpongeBob conspiracy?
Alex, we can make more SpongeBob.
Is it too loud or is it okay?
More SpongeBob.
All right, I get it. Listen,
Okay.
I'm done making SpongeBob theories. I already gave you guys 8 big ones. And then I made a whole web series about not wanting to be the SpongeBob guy. I'm done, okay? But since
okay,
we're wrapping
great.
up this SpongeBob chapter of my channel,
Will it be
and since
scary?
I'm basically at 1 million subscribers, here's what I'll do as a final send-off just for you SpongeBob theory fans.
Yay!
This video is a compilation of my 8 previous SpongeBob conspiracies with no sponsorships, no film interruptions, no whining about not wanting to be the SpongeBob guy, except for the whining that I just did, and a bunch of brand new, never-before-seen content. These theories have new evidence that's been discovered, some corrections in responding to comments I've gotten, new ideas,
I
and
wonder,
directions for old
will we
theories,
believe
and
it?
best of all, 8 completely new, never-before-seen mini SpongeBob theories.
I love
I'll be
SpongeBob.
sprinkling these new mini theories in after each of the main theories, and I'll also be ending all of my
Okay.
old theories with some thoughts on how I think they hold up today. And hey,
Okay.
after this, I'm still going to be making theories about other non-SpongeBob
Great.
related topics, so make sure you subscribe to catch those.
The
Let's
coverage
begin this
mentions.
one final SpongeBob video with the very first SpongeBob theory
Oh,
I ever
Tysams.
made, just for you, very passionate SpongeBob theory
Ooh.
fans that have changed my life. Thank you for everything. I hope you enjoy.
Squilliam Fancy Son. Squilliam Fancy Son. Squilliam Fancy Son.
Squilliam Fancy Son III is
Uh-huh.
Squidward's rival from high school band class.
So,
I remember him.
just took my private yacht across my private lake to my private heliport.
He's more wealthy, popular, and talented than Squidward, and he always
Yeah.
rubs it in his face.
That's
But there's
right.
Squidward.
I'm living your dreams, Squidward. Oh, just succeeding in everything you failed
I
in.
love
But I
SpongeBob,
intend
bruh.
to prove that he's a fraud, using his wealth to make himself seem more popular and talented than he actually is. He goes to ridiculous
Isn't it like the fact? I don't remember really, but I think it was an episode about it, right? Or no?
lengths to humiliate Squidward and show his superiority, and I'm gonna prove it. Evidence number 1, the pet hospital. We first meet Squilliam in Season 2, Episode 15, Band Geeks.
Whoa.
The episode opens with
Research.
Squidward playing the clarinet and getting a knock on the door.
Yeah, we're with the pet hospital down the street, and I understand you have a dying animal on the premises.
Immediately after, Squidward gets a call from Squilliam.
Hello, you've reached the house of unrecognized talent. Please start after the...
Sounds as though you've got a dying animal to attend to, old chum.
I believe that not only was Squilliam spying on Squidward to know when he was playing his clarinet, but
Yeah, how
also
did he
hired
know?
the doctor to come and embarrass Squidward.
Yeah, we're with the pet hospital down the street. Pet hospital down the street.
Yeah,
Never
I
seen a
mean,
pet hospital.
that's the obvious joke in this scene, no? Like, it's obvious that he sent the doctors.
Bikini Bottom. We've only ever seen just the regular Bikini Bottom hospital. We've seen this purple doctorfish before, but once again, he's never worked at a pet hospital. We've only ever seen him at the regular general hospital.
Well, Mr. Squarepants, it seems you have the suds. Are
Then
you
the
ready for your
research.
treatment?
Then there's this green fish behind him, and we've only ever seen him as one of the many identical paramedics that work at the Bikini Bottom hospital. We even see him at the end of the episode to take
I didn't know that I didn't know that they like how do I say it? That when they draw a doctor fish, I didn't know it's like specific that the fish is in this hospital and that I missed the word that they always do it. I thought that they're always drawing random.
Squilliam away after fainting. So it is very likely that Squilliam hired these two and told them to pretend like they're from a pet hospital just to humiliate Squidward. Hey, it's me from the future. So this is an obvious one that I got tons of comments about. There is a pet hospital, and this doctor did do a pet checkup, and I was a teenage Gary. Still, I think the way Squilliam immediately calls and mentions the dying animal strongly implies he sent the doctor to mess with Squidward. Also, I don't have like a ton to add to this theory, just because they haven't really released any new Squilliam lore, but I've still got a few things to say, and the next theories will have a lot more, I promise. But this is just the start of Squilliam's elaborate lies. Evidence number 2, the Bubble Bowl. In the same episode, Squilliam also says,
I'm the leader of a big fancy band now, and we're supposed to play the Bubble Bowl next week. The problem is, I'm busy next week and can't make it, so I was hoping you and your band could cover for us.
But we've never seen Squilliam's band before, and despite claiming he's too busy to make it to the Bubble Bowl, he still shows up at the end to watch Squidward's band. So both his excuse and probably his band were made up to
He's just evil. Maybe I should be more like him. If you don't know, I am starting my evil arc, so I think I should take notes. Maybe I should like call people and make lies like this.
pressure Squidward into humiliating himself at the Bubble Bowl.
Pretty funny.
Squilliam, you lying, deceiving bastard! I didn't even realize that! Who is that handsome young devil? Hey, I know this guy!
Evidence number 3, Squilliam's friends. In Season 3, Episode 8, Squilliam returns. Squidward leaves for work and conveniently bumps into Squilliam and all of his fancy friends, despite Squilliam not seeming like the kind of guy that would come near the Krusty Krab. He and his friends make fun of Squidward for working as a cashier.
Hold it! Don't tell me! You're a cashier! Don't lie.
What's wrong with being a cashier?
But I believe that this encounter was planned out by Squilliam in advance, and he hired all of those people to pretend to be his friends. Take a look at Squilliam's friends. They're all nicely dressed, you kind of get the sense that they're fancy, high-status members of Bikini Bottom, but they aren't. This is more like what the fancy rich people in Bikini Bottom look like. These are just some regular Bikini Bottom citizens. Most of them usually don't even wear nice clothes like this. And most of them are regulars at the
I don't think the animators was thinking about this much, no?
Crab and would already know Squidward as a cashier.
Maybe they did.
Doesn't have enough slime.
These are not the type of people Squilliam would hang out with. I mean, why would Squilliam be hanging out with one of Pearl's teenage friends? You know, some people pointed out that maybe there's another reason for this, but I'm not gonna get into that.
Squilliam, you have some explaining.
Wait. One of his teenage friend. Oh,
Another
let's
reason
not
for this,
think too
but
much
I'm not
about
gonna get into
it.
that.
Squilliam, you have some explaining to do. Hi, I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC. Why don't you have a seat right there?
At the end of the episode, Squilliam even admits to his whole life being fake.
I made everything up about my life. I have no yachts, jets, or anything.
But he said
I
it was
only
not
trying to
true.
impress you.
I remember that.
And then, of course, he quickly says he's just kidding.
Is that true? Of course
Yeah,
not.
character
I'm
sizing,
filthy,
yeah.
stinking rich.
But was he kidding? I mean, obviously he's rich, but is there a nugget of truth in there? Evidence
Is my
number
life
4,
changing or
the
not?
Statue. In Season 7, Episode 6, Squidward has to pick up trash for community service, and Squilliam once again conveniently bumps into him and reveals he's cleaned up so much
What?
trash that the
I wanted to reset it. Oh yeah, it works.
city actually built a statue of him.
Maybe if you clean up Bikini Bottom, they'll build a statue of you. Oh, wait! They've already built one. Of me! I cleaned up all of Bikini Bottom in a
It doesn't
week.
look like him. It doesn't has eyebrows.
Hello, it's me, I'm interrupting. So, a lot of people thought this statue was actually supposed to be of Squidward
Oh,
because
there
there's no
is.
unibrow, but we can actually faintly see it right there.
Oh,
Wait! They've already built one. Of me!
I believe that once again, this encounter was staged by Squilliam, and he actually paid to get that statue built. As Squilliam tells Squidward about the statue, a female fish admires it and says,
Bless you, Squilliam Fancy Sim. Bless you.
but if you remember, this is one of those friends
Oh.
Squilliam likely paid, making her whole comment feel very fake. By the end of the episode, Squilliam's statue gets destroyed. A police officer approaches and they have this exchange.
This is your statue?
It was.
I love this music. That's every time that a policeman in SpongeBob appears. This doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. I love it. It's so funny.
Police officer approaches and they have this exchange.
This is your statue?
It was.
Squilliam admits that it's his statue, not the city's. And why else would the officer give him specifically a ticket if it was city property? Evidence number 5, the concert. In season 6, episode 7.
It's getting kind of lag or just me? Oh, is it lagging for everyone? I think it shouldn't be lagging, but can someone else in chat tell is it lagging or not?
Squidward watches Squilliam play the clarinet at a big fancy concert. He receives a standing ovation, causing Squidward to leave angrily. But I believe this entire concert is a scam. Not only has the audience been paid to cheer, but Squilliam never even touches his instrument. Once again, many of the audience members were part of Squilliam's quote-unquote friends, but we also never actually see.
It's fine, but just in case if yeah, maybe refresh. Maybe it will be. Maybe your internet is not good at time. It's all the same. His friends around. You'd never realize, right?
Squilliam play the clarinet. The episode opens right after he's finished his performance with the audience cheering, and one member of the audience says,
"He's such a great musician. He doesn't even have to touch an instrument to be brilliant."
Maybe the real reason Squidward leaves so angrily is because the audience cheered for Squilliam even though he never even touched his clarinet. Maybe Squilliam is just—
Bro, I want to have guitar concert without touching my guitar. Do you guys want me to play this guitar? Here you go, I'm such a good musician that I don't have to.
bad as Squidward at the clarinet, and he's trying to hide it.
Applause,
hey,
please.
Before we get into the next evidence, here's a quick new thought I had.
Okay.
In this video, I'm claiming Squilliam is a fraud in terms of his popularity and his talent, but he clearly is actually very rich. But
yes.
How? Well, I think the answer is in his name, Squilliam Fancyson the—
Oh, I know what fell before. I don't have my lipstick.
Third. He was obviously just born into a rich family and was given everything his whole life. Just another interesting layer to the character. Squilliam has gone to some pretty extreme
So it's not
lengths
his
just to humiliate
success.
Squidward, but nothing, and I mean nothing, compares to what he does next. Evidence number 6. The Music College. In the same episode, after Squidward leaves the concert, he's approached by the headmistress of the Bikini Bottom prestigious music college.
Aren't you the esteemed Squilliam Fancyson III, who we all came here to see perform tonight?
She mistakes him for Squilliam and offers him a position as a professor. Squidward pretends to be Squilliam and teaches a class, only for the police to burst in and arrest him, all while he's being filmed on live TV. And I believe that this is Squilliam's most elaborate and most expensive scheme to destroy Squidward both publicly and legally. This encounter where Squidward gets offered a job is already suspiciously convenient, but listen closely to their exchange.
I'm Squilliam Fancyson.
But didn't you just say a minute ago that your name was Squidward Q Tentacles?
It is. No, I mean, no, I didn't.
Well, that's a relief. I mean, what kind of a moron would go to their worst enemy's music recital?
What kind of moron would go to their own
Why does she know about him, right?
enemy's music recital?
How does she know? How does she
Yeah, how does she know? Hi, Siwa, thank you for lurking. We're watching the SpongeBob conspiracy compilation. And right now, it's about that Squilliam is fake and everything he does is like a scheme to humiliate Squidward.
How does she know?
Yeah, how does she know?
You're onto something, my guy.
How does she know that Squidward and Squilliam are enemies? If she knew who Squidward was, then why didn't she recognize him? Why would she mistake him for Squilliam?
Yeah, that's true. If she knew that they are enemies, then she would recognize him.
Too much like she was hired by Squilliam to set a trap for Squidward. And if that's not enough, the headmistress's associate is literally just a guy from the paid audience wearing a disguise. Headmistress's associate is literally just a guy from the paid audience wearing a disguise. He just threw on some glasses to seem smart. Squilliam knew that Squidward couldn't resist the opportunity to teach a music class, even if it meant breaking the law.
My very
Do you really think that the people that making cartoon really thought about it?
own music class?
Then we get to the Bikini Bottom prestigious music college, and right off the bat,
In reality, he lives in a durian under the sea. That would be stinky.
there's something very fishy about this place. The building itself is very green and grimy and has a very cheap metal look. Nothing about this says
that's
prestigious
true.
except for the big sign on top, which feels like the only new thing about this
Prestigious.
building. I think there is a very good chance that Squilliam just bought
Damn,
some
that's
old warehouse
true.
and stuck a sign and some paint on it to disguise it as a college. I mean, look at these other schools in Bikini Bottom. They all have a very nice structure and a paint
They are not
job,
prestigious
but this
even.
prestigious music college looks like a dumpster. Going into the classroom, not only does it have another one of Squilliam's friends, but if this is such a prestigious college, how did SpongeBob and Patrick get in here?
Would you two numbskulls mind telling me what you're doing in music class anyway?
Patrick's New Year's resolution was to learn to play an instrument.
They say it was their New Year's resolution to take a music class, but you'd think it'd be harder for them to get into an esteemed music school if they just decided to go to it on a whim. Seems like they're just letting in anyone to sell this ruse. Then, both the police, Squilliam, and the
Freaking European paper everything. If you don't know, in Europe Union we have to have everything have to be paper. This is paper. This is paper. This is paper, and it's not a big problem. But if you're drinking something a long time, that it gets soft. This being paper is the most disgusting thing. If you're drinking coffee and it's paper, it's like, you know, you're drinking coffee from a paper. Like, it's not good. It's to make life worse. Yeah, and you have to, if you want to, for example, when you're in a like cinema and you have big drink and you want to drink it for the whole movie, it's gonna the straw, right? The straw is gonna get soft and it's kind of disgusting. Or when you're at the bar and you know you're drinking your drink for an hours, you have the same like straw. It's like, ugh, disgusting. The paper change the flavor, yeah. Life hack: bring crazy straw from home. Oh, I have metal straws in my home. They should do this. Like, maybe not in McDonald's, but like metal straws. They like metal, you know, forks and stuff. They are good. But I don't know. I think rich people and big corporations use more plastic and do more bad things than me and my little drink. Okay, but that's besides the point. I just have to say it because I have it right now. Back to SpongeBob.
headmistress and a live news broadcast show up at the same time to arrest Squidward for
that's so
impersonating
sad.
Squilliam.
Like, imagine having this evil guy who just makes everything, you know, having enemy that's so his sense of life is making you suffer. Should I have an enemy like that? Maybe I should be someone's enemy like that. Do you think it's fun?
The extremely coincidental fact that all of these people suddenly showed up at the same time isn't enough for you to believe that Squilliam set it all up. I've got something that's going to blow
probably
your
Squilliam did it.
mind. Squilliam literally has the police working for him.
Squidward cute tentacle.
Squilliam.
Bro, that's the same guy. No way. No way. The cops at Bikini Bottom are corrupted. No way, bro. All cops are bastards or something like this, right? Even at Bikini Bottoms. Damn.
Literally has the police working for him.
Squidward cute tentacles, I'm placing you under arrest for impersonating a genius.
If that doesn't sound like he's been paid off, I don't know what does. The lengths that Squilliam goes to humiliate Squidward are insane. He literally builds statues and entire buildings just
I'll
to
be your
make
nemesis. Okay, but it has to be funny. It has to be funny. It has to be like a cartoon. Like cartoon enemy.
Squidward feel inferior. But why?
Nemesis.
Why would anyone go so far to embarrass an old high school band classmate? What happened between them? What could have caused this extreme level of dedication? Well, unfortunately, we never really get much
maybe
information on
Squidward
their
is a
past.
bad guy.
I've spent hours reading through the SpongeBob Wikipedia and looking at old episodes, and there really just isn't any clues that would explain their weird relationship. I guess we can't solve everything, but either way, that's my theory. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you
Kill
next
Harvey?
Wait a second.
I did without you even.
Wait a second.
Without you telling me.
Season 6, Episode 5, Slide Whistle Studio.
No, when killing Harvey was, you told me to not kill Harvey, and I did it, and then you accused me I killed Harvey. And now you want me to kill Harvey again.
Just a normal episode where SpongeBob and Patrick annoy Squidward. Nothing really out of the ordinary.
Yes.
Except I have one question about this episode. Why does Squidward have Squilliam's robe? That is clearly not the purple robe he usually wears. That is Squilliam Fancyson III's robe. Why would Squidward have this?
Are we about to... Is he about to say what I think he's about to...
Unless they were more than just classmates. Could they have once been dating?
Hey, yo! I mean, wait.
Whoa!
He's a grown man that likes the clarinet.
Ex-lovers.
Classical
I was
art.
thinking about something else. I was thinking that maybe Squidward stole it, or that maybe he killed him or something, but I didn't think about ex-lovers. But maybe. Damn.
Classical music and smooth jazz. Octopi are bisexual?
No way. That's not possible. There's no evidence to support that. Right?
Don't be intimidated, Squidward. Try to imagine him in his underwear. Oh no, he's hot!
No.
I mean, what kind of
Oh no, he's hot.
a moron would go to their worst enemy's music recital?
It's been right in front of us this whole time.
Our sources last saw Evil harassing teenagers up at Makeout Reef.
Makeout Reef. Good times, good times.
Voted most likely to suck eggs in high school.
Holy
Damn. Were they?
Alex Bale does it again. He does it again. He always has this way of being like, of the video obviously
Eshko should
being
be...
a stretch, but he'll...
Hey, Eshko and me are still dating. We are not ex-lovers, bruh.
give you that one tidbit of it.
And it's gonna be like this forever.
He does it every time.
Also, he calls him Squiddy.
Squiddy?
That kind of sounds like a pet name for an ex, right? I don't know. Obviously, I didn't have a ton to add to this theory, since there hasn't really been any new Squilliam episodes, but I have a lot more to say in the other theories, I promise. So before we get to the first official new mini theory, I'm gonna end each of my old theories with a few thoughts on how I think they hold up and where I think they rank among the others. I think I'd probably rank this as my worst SpongeBob theory.
It's gonna get better, guys!
Even though I still think it's pretty plausible, it's just got a lot of issues with it. You can probably tell it's my first attempt at an actual theory, with some obvious things I got wrong, and the fact that a lot of the evidence relies on the continuity of very common background characters, which are obviously used very interchangeably in this show with no rhyme or reason. I still think there's some really good evidence here, like the design of the college, or the way this lady clearly
There's the fifth position, but you don't know what will be the next ones. Maybe next one will be really, really better.
About Squidward that she's letting on. But also, you know, when you compare it to my later theories, it's kind of just a very basic, simple concept. I'm just claiming the asshole character is an even bigger asshole than you thought. It's really not that interesting or surprising. Oh well, we can only go up from here. Let's begin my first new mini theory.
Damn.
So, here's a question I've been asked from the very start of making these SpongeBob theories. How is there fire underwater? It's probably one of the most obvious contradictions in this show, and the creators will usually go out of their way to draw attention to the fact that it doesn't make any sense.
At least it's warm around the fire.
One thing that doesn't make sense is that Squidward has actively stopped a pride parade. Really? I don't remember that episode. Really? I don't mean, but I mean, they are homophobic gay people. And actually, many homophobic people are homophobic because they are not accepting themselves, you know, and they are scared that they are scared of what they really are, so they hate people like this, you know. Episode 224. I don't believe you just remember it like that. I know a guy like that. And also, like, many politicians are like, I'm not accusing like they are being gay, but they like and I think there's a little bit of gay in everyone. I mean, I think sexuality is a spectrum, so I mean, there's no such a thing as no gay at all or 100% gay. It's like spectrum. So I think this is, you know, people are just not accepting this part of them.
Whoever sent this obviously has no idea about the physical limitations of life underwater. Might as well throw these in the fire.
So finally, I will give the people my answer to this infamous age-old question: how is there fire underwater? It's just a cartoon. I'm not kidding, that's actually my answer.
Duh.
SpongeBob is not the real world.
It's just a joke.
A cartoon. It has its own cartoon logic where absurd things like fire being underwater can happen. But that doesn't mean there's nothing here to theorize about. Just because it's cartoon logic doesn't mean it's not still logic. If you pay close attention, you can see that there...
I'm 100% straight. I just like musicals. Okay, but do you never like make any turns? You only go straight. You never turn left or right. I don't believe that.
Is a consistent internal logic and rules to how this cartoon world really works. And I think how SpongeBob cartoon logic works is best explained in the Season 3 episode, Idiot Box. In this episode, SpongeBob and Patrick spend the day playing inside of a box, but Squidward keeps hearing impossible sound effects coming from it.
SpongeBob?
It's so funny, this
How are they
episode.
creating these sound effects?
How are you two making those noises?
Imagination.
With their imagination. And this is key to understanding how the SpongeBob
Someone
world
please add a
really
rainbow.
works. This episode tells us that anything that is imagined in SpongeBob can physically come to life. We can see this imagination rule in every single episode of the show. The most obvious example of this is when a character is thinking and a thought bubble appears above their head. But in SpongeBob, these thought bubbles are real physical things. Other characters can see and physically interact with them.
Wait, hold on! My pen is out of ink. Plankton! You'll never get me formula, not even in a flashback. Wait, what?
Because things imagined
hi,
in
Sifu.
SpongeBob come.
Hi! We're watching the SpongeBob conspiracy compilation. It's about conspiracies in SpongeBob by Alex Bale. And right now he's talking about this one is like a mini one right now. It's between the two of bigger ones. It's about imagination. And because question was how there is a fire underwater in the SpongeBob.
To life. And this goes far beyond just thought bubbles. It explains how characters are constantly getting new props and costumes out of nowhere. Where did SpongeBob
They're just
suddenly get this
imagining
hat and
it.
sign? Where did he get this glove or all of these costumes that instantly appear?
I'm not gay, but I can't take my eyes off a man with ton muscles. Yeah. I mean, what I mean is, you know, sometimes it's even not like sexual. Like, you know, sometimes it's, and you, for example, you will never know about. Maybe, I just mean there's, love is love. Maybe sometimes you don't even know. Maybe you would know someone who you would love so much that the gender would not matter, you know? We never know. And only depending of how we live our life, we get to know these things.
and disappear. It's because SpongeBob is imagining all of these props. This can be used to explain almost every single absurd gag in this show.
Wait, Patrick, you're supposed to let me win, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Patrick is imagining himself getting beat up here.
Said it's gonna be a good one, just wait and see.
SpongeBob is imagining the sun talking to him and burning his bedroom. And SpongeBob and Patrick are imagining that fire is able to exist underwater. And if you still don't believe me, look what happens when Patrick questions the logic behind the fire.
Hey, if we're underwater, how could there be a...
The moment they start doubting the logic of the fire, it disappears because they're
That's
no
how the
longer
word
able to imagine
works.
it. This rule also seems to be limited by how imaginative each character is. Squidward, who never even got the idiot box to work, rarely ever manifests any imaginations, while SpongeBob, arguably the most imaginative character in the show, has created living characters like Doodlebob and Bubble Buddy using his imagination, both of which have ended up continually reappearing throughout.
Unsolved Lead 1. Oh, I can't. Please, I don't want this thing to cover it. I found lots of promising leads for SpongeBob theories that I couldn't crack. If you want to take over SpongeBob theories after me, go ahead and see if you can figure it out for yourself. I'm never going to be covering these ideas in the future, so make your own SpongeBob conspiracy videos about them. I've added 10 leads in this video for you. Who keeps drawing Doodlebob all over Bikini Bottom and why? Under Mr. Krabs' desk in Bottle Burglars, in a dark alley in the Nitweden, in someone's trying to summon Doodlebob for some reason. Oh, really? I didn't see that. Okay, Tsiwa, that's okay. Like, I'm not forcing anything on anyone, just I'm saying how I see it and how I believe it works.
The entire show. Bubble Buddy even went on to create an entire bubble town full of bubble citizens, all stemming from SpongeBob's imagination. This theory also explains why Mrs. Puff gets trapped in so many delusions. They are literally manifesting around her because of her imagination. Okay, but what's the point of explaining all of this? Even if you didn't know the exact mechanics of it, you probably already understood that random stuff can just appear and disappear in a cartoon.
Because it's
I'm not
cartoon.
really telling you anything groundbreaking. But once you fully understand this idea, it adds a whole new context to so many things in this show. One of the most interesting being how dreams seem to affect the world. Specifically, SpongeBob's dreams. In Season 1 Sleepy Time, SpongeBob dreams about finally getting his license, but then he crashes and Mrs. Puff takes his license away.
Music.
And this is exactly what happens later in the Season 2 episode, No Free Rides. Mrs. Puff gives him a license, instantly regrets it, and after SpongeBob crashes his car, Mrs. Puff takes his license away. So, did SpongeBob's dream predict this event, or did his imagination literally cause it to happen? Okay, you're not convinced yet? Don't worry. This is far from the only instance of this happening. In Season 2 Procrastination, SpongeBob...
Hi, Vinay! SpongeBob has my birthday, by the way. Whoa, really? Wait, what's his birthday? Was it here? No, I don't see his birthday, but... Hi! He's old? How... Is it here? 1986. Whoa. Is this your birthday also? Hi, we're watching the SpongeBob conspiracy compilation until we get crazy. And right now it's about that imagination of SpongeBob makes things real in real life. I just saw your Twitter post. Are you going crazy yet? Oh yeah, I forgot to quote it and said I'm live right now. Give me a second. I will just do it. I am not crazy yet, so we don't have to finish the stream. Oh, not this one. Okay, let me... And with caps lock even. Live now. Okay. You sure already crazy? I mean, we don't count that I was already a little bit crazy. Of course, we're not counting at. Like, if I'm this crazy, I have to be like this crazy to finish stream, right? So, of course, I'm above the norm, but that was before watching it. Did you just end your shift at the Krusty Krab? I wish I had the hat like this.
Imagination literally cause it to happen. Okay, you're not convinced yet? Don't worry. This is far from the only instance of this happening. In Season 2 Procrastination, SpongeBob dreams about his pineapple burning down, which happens later in Season 9 Gary's New Toy. In Season 5...
Bro, it's scary that it happens few seasons later.
Cowards, he dreams about crashing on a Glove World roller coaster. And then it happens in Season 10 Don't Wake Patrick. Even dreams we don't see come true. In Squids on a Bus, Squidward becomes a bus driver for the day, and SpongeBob says this.
I've always dreamed one day I'd board a bus and see you driving it.
Now, I already know what you're gonna say. SpongeBob's a very long-running show. A lot of these basic plots were bound to happen eventually, right? You know, it's like how The Simpsons can predict the future. But in Season 4's Fear of Krabby Patties, SpongeBob dreams about everyone in the Krusty Krab turning into giant killer Krabby Patties.
Uh-oh, will it happen?
That is a very...
A house burning down in a dream and then in another random episode is ridiculous. At some point, they were going to have SpongeBob house burn down. Just a statistical likelihood, since that's how TV works. Yeah. And that's also, he just said it, right? Like, literally, as you were typing it, he said this argument that, of course, you will say that this is a long show and this will all gonna happen. Like, see, he said it.
Now, I already know what you're gonna say. SpongeBob's a very long-running show. A lot of these basic plots were bound to happen eventually, right? You know, it's like how The Simpsons can predict the future. But in Season 4's Fear of Krabby Patties, SpongeBob dreams about everyone in the Krusty Krab turning into giant killer Krabby Patties. That is a very weird and specific plot, and yet that's still exactly what happens 7 seasons later in Krabby Patty Creature Feature, when Mr. Krabs feeds people experimental Krabby Patties and turns everyone into giant mutant Krabby Patty monsters.
What the heck is these new seasons?
SpongeBob down.
That is specific.
It seems like all of SpongeBob's dreams eventually manifest into real life because of the limited power of his imagination. Okay, that's all pretty interesting, right? But you want to know something really crazy? While researching this theory, I discovered something insane. Honestly, it may be one of the craziest discoveries I've ever found in this show. Are you ready? In the Season 6 special, Truth or Square, all of the characters get trapped inside of the massive ventilation system beneath the Krusty Krab.
There's an entire network of tunnels and air ducts underground.
At a certain point, Mr. Krabs gets separated from the group.
A crossroads. I'll go this way, and SpongeBob, you lead him down that way.
SpongeBob then takes a break to tell the story of when Mr. Krabs told him the Krabby Patty secret formula.
This reminds me of the time Mr. Krabs confided in me the Krabby Patty recipe. Mr. Krabs called me into his office.
And then something really strange happens. After the story, we cut back to the group, and Mr. Krabs is somehow back with them after previously being separated.
Oh! He came from his imagination box? Like he's not real Mr. Krab, he's imagined Mr. Krab. That's what he's gonna say?
I'm serious. There's no scene of them being reunited. He's just gone and then back somehow, and it's never explained in this episode. I mean, what was even the point of wasting time and money animating them split up if they were just gonna
in the cloud.
bring Mr. Krabs back without any explanation?
I'll go this way, and SpongeBob, you lead him down that way.
You could literally remove the scene of Mr. Krabs separating from them, and the episode would make total sense. But wait a second. Look at how SpongeBob's story ends.
You can never tell another living soul. Wait, hold on! never get me formula, not even in a flashback.
And he came from memory.
Imaginary Mr. Krabs from inside of the thought bubble grabs Plankton and throws him down a vent. And when we cut back, Mr. Krabs is suddenly back sitting with the group. The obvious explanation is that this isn't the real Mr. Krabs.
Yeah,
this
that's
is
what I
still
said.
The imaginary Krabs from SpongeBob's story who came to life. And the real Mr. Krabs is still somewhere lost inside of the Krusty Krab vents, and they never switched back. The Mr. Krabs they escape with is not the real Mr. Krabs. And every time we see Mr. Krabs after this season 6 episode, he's actually a fake imaginary doppelganger. And the real one is still trapped beneath the Krusty Krab somewhere. It's the reason why Mr. Krabs in later seasons has become such a one-dimensional character. Going from someone who was cheap but still genuinely cared about his employees and family to a one-note cartoon villain. It's because he actually was replaced by a flat, imaginary imitation of the original. And I know what you're gonna say, there's no way SpongeBob would imagine him to be that way. Well, think again.
Show me what you got.
Look at me. I'm Mr. Krabs. I love money. Every night I tuck me wallet in and tell it a bedtime story. Oh, what's that you say? Me daughter Pearl needs an operation? I'll do it myself and save a nickel.
That'll do, SpongeBob.
That's scary.
And that is the imagination theory. 7 more mini theories left. Woo!
The television was the television. The television theory. Okay.
The show SpongeBob SquarePants is not what you think it is. There is a secret group of puppet masters who are always watching the citizens of Bikini Bottom and pulling the strings. Hidden within Bikini Bottom are spies that keep an eye on the characters and make sure everything goes to plan. This is a conspiracy that will fundamentally change the way you look at the show SpongeBob
Like the Truman Show?
SquarePants. And I believe it's all actually intended by the creators. And I'm gonna prove it. This is the television theory. To start this theory, we have to go back to the very beginning of the very first episode of SpongeBob SquarePants.
This
First.
So fascinating.
By the way, I think what was a TV show? Yeah, what else is it? I think my brother told me that he can't find anywhere first season of SpongeBob. That there are other seasons, but he can't watch anywhere first season somehow. I don't know if this is a real issue or his issue, but...
So wonderful. Here we see Bikini Bottom, teeming with life, home of one of my favorite creatures, SpongeBob SquarePants. Yes, of course he lives in a pineapple, you silly.
So let me ask you a question.
What's
Who's
this
speaking
accent?
in this clip? Well, obviously that's just the narrator. We hear his voice many times throughout the show.
Yeah.
Goo Lagoon, a stinky mud puddle for you and me. The Krusty Krab, through these doors.
There was a recurring racist stereotype in season 1. Like making accent is racist? What accent is this though?
Past all the many kinds of undersea life. Puff's boating school, where diligent students learn the rules of the road.
But who exactly is the narrator? Well,
it's me.
He's just the narrator, right? We're not supposed to think about who he is or why we're hearing him. Lots of shows have narrator framing devices we're not supposed to think about.
Caillou was amazed that Mommy had made a rainbow, just like in the picture.
But there's something different about this narrator. He sounds a lot...
French, the country at the border of Poland. French is not at our border, bro. Look at the map again.
like he's narrating a nature documentary.
The ocean. From above, a simple blanket of water. But below, a complex world full of color, life, and wonder.
Ah, the sea. So fascinating. So
Lagoon.
wonderful. Here we see Bikini Bottom, teeming with life.
And it's not French accent. It's not French accent.
What if I told you that he's not just some random disembodied voice? He's an actual character in this universe.
What?
Here we are again at the Bikini Bottom boating school. Today is once again the day of SpongeBob's boating school exam. But more importantly, this is the last test for the year. And if SpongeBob does not pass this one, It means another whole year of boarding school!
In Polish dubbing, the narrator didn't have the accent. I think in Polish dubbing, he just had normal voice. I think we don't make so much jokes about accents. Maybe.
SpongeBob literally crashes into
I
the
don't
fourth wall,
remember
and we
this
actually get
one.
to see the narrator in
The whole year of boarding school!
SpongeBob literally crashes into the fourth wall, and we actually get to see the narrator and the camera he's been filming with. The show SpongeBob SquarePants is not just a cartoon. Everything we see is a part of a nature documentary television show being filmed by scuba divers. Hey, Alex from the future here. It is kind of weird that the scuba diver seems so small here compared to most humans we see in the show.
Wait, I have to text something to Eshkoi. Okay. He will go to a shop later, so I wanted to tell him to buy some chips or something. Francis is to Poland as Canada is to United States. No, bro. You're wrong. He tries to use an elegant tone, but when SpongeBob runs him over, he switches back to his original accent. Did he? Really?
SpongeBob does not pass this one. It means another whole year of boarding school!
SpongeBob literally crashes into the fourth wall, and we actually get to see the narrator and the camera he's been filming with. The show SpongeBob SquarePants is not just a cartoon. Everything we see is a part of a nature documentary television show being filmed by scuba divers. Hey, Alex from the future here. It is kind of weird that the scuba diver seems so small here compared to most humans we see in the show. I go into
Do we
this
see
a little
more humans
at the
in
end
the
of
show?
theory, but we know humans have access to shrinking technology, so I think it's very possible the filmmakers shrunk themselves down to film the show. And if you're still not convinced, I searched really hard and found an old SpongeBob DVD bonus feature that basically confirms everything.
Since before time even existed, land-loving scientists have tried to learn the secrets of intelligence. Their studies led them to the sea, where the citizens of one undersea colony demonstrated a genius so enormous, the scientists felt compelled to record their actions for use in teaching mankind how to live better. The name of this miraculous place? Bikini Bottom. Poring over the mass of brainy masterminds scattered about this strange land, the scientists chose 6 Bikini Bottom residents at random to study. As the scientists marveled at the advanced knowledge and superior intellect of these 6 creatures,
I went to college!
they rolled their cameras and took notes. And now, finally, we can learn all of the things that these smarty pantsuses have to teach us. Life lessons from Bikini Bottom.
I don't know how it can get any more clear than that. Now, if you rewatch the show with this new information in mind, some things start to take on a whole new meaning. Throughout the series, there's this weird, unexplained running gag of a human hand interfering with the characters. It's even in the beginning of every episode in the intro for the show. Maybe the
Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy are also humans to scale of SpongeBob. Yeah, but he said that in some episodes, there was some sort of like a shrinking laser or something. So they are probably also shrunk. But how do they breathe under the water, right? Sandy can't breathe, but they like breathe under the water. Is it like they... Maybe it's their superpower? Did the Barnacle Boy also had superpower?
filmmakers are doing a bit more than just studying these characters. The hand seems to mostly interfere just to maintain the health and safety of the characters, like treating SpongeBob for the suds.
Well, Mr. SquarePants, it seems you have the suds. Are you ready for your treatment? Oh, Hans!
Hans.
It makes sense that the filmmakers wouldn't want to risk the safety of their main character. After all, there's no show without SpongeBob, but that's not the only reason why they interfere. Season 3, Episode 16, I Had an Accident, is infamous for having one of the most absurd, confusing endings in the entire show. It ends with a real gorilla suddenly coming out of a Patrick costume and attacking the characters.
A real gorilla? Huh?
It's not a real gorilla, let it be clear. It's not a real gorilla, guys.
Question the logic of the scene, this happens.
What's a gorilla doing underwater in the first place?
Well, it's funny you should. I mean, see, George, they're onto us!
Let's get out of here.
Classic. That's us.
SpongeBob is a weird show, but this has always stuck out as being just a little too weird. But knowing what we know now,
Oh my god, I'm sorry, I'm yawning. I was sleeping only 6.5 hours. That's not a lot for me.
This isn't a real gorilla. Every other land animal we've seen underwater wears a helmet and is drawn in a cartoony style. The gorilla is shown in a live-action style, and the only time we ever see live-action characters is when they're human. So I believe both the gorilla and the horse he rides away on are humans wearing costumes. The filmmakers set this whole thing up just to make the episode more entertaining. It's starting to seem like this isn't strictly a nature documentary anymore. It's more of a reality TV show made for entertainment. Who knows what other absurd elements of the show are actually put there by the filmmakers to make the show more entertaining.
Oh my god, the concert episode, remember? It was epic.
Although, based on the people's reaction, it doesn't always seem to pay off. But how far will the filmmakers go to make the show more profitable?
Saturday morning in Bikini Bottom. SpongeBob is watching his favorite Saturday morning show, The Adventures of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, enjoying a bowl of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy bland cereal, and wearing the official Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy Blackfist biters.
If we think of this as a television show, this sounds an awful lot like a product placement. I mean, listen to how the narrator specifically says the full names of the products.
Oh yeah!
The Adventures of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy bland cereal, Mermaid...
It's not French accent. No, I heard French accent. It's not a French accent. I don't want to mimic it, but it's not French accent.
Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy Blackfist biters.
Why don't you let me fix you some of this new Mococo drink? All natural cocoa beans from the upper slopes of Mount Nicaragua, no artificial sweeteners.
I love Truman Show. Did you guys watch Truman Show? I love it.
What are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
Maybe the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy TV show is actually from the surface world. They are human after all. It makes sense that the filmmakers would choose to highlight these popular superhero characters. The more they show, the more they're gonna sell.
Truman Show is my life. So, are you the Truman? We're watching you.
Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy merchandise. Also, Mermaid Man's old team of superheroes is referred to as a subsidiary of Viacom.
The International Justice League of Super Acquaintances, a subsidiary of Viacom.
And Viacom at the time was the company that owned Nickelodeon, which owns SpongeBob. So that's just more proof that Mermaid Man is directly working for the showrunners. Hang on a second, why are Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy the same size as all the fish in Bikini Bottom, even though humans are always shown as massive compared to fish?
What was our question?
Whatever, I'll come back to that one later. The show doesn't even just hide product placements. In the episode Model Sponge, they literally trick SpongeBob.
I ask you to please stop watching me sleep. I will stream it. No, because I will get copyright strike. I can't stream it. I will do reaction to it.
Into making a commercial for a human product.
I'm ready for
reaction to look how he's sleeping. Look, he switched his side. Look, he scratched his butt. That's so funny.
What's up, Mr. Director? Loose the pants! What's happening?
New sponge commercial. Take one. Your bathroom is a disaster. Get it cleaned up fast with the new sponge. Just look at that shine.
This is just like in real life how SpongeBob is such a popular character that he's used to sell tons and tons of products. So far I've shown you that the show SpongeBob SquarePants is actually a documentary television show, but the creators continually interfere to push their own agendas and make more money. But that brings us to an important question.
Typical.
Do the characters know they're in a television show? Let's go back to the
Probably they see cameraman.
It means another whole year of boarding school!
What happened?
Oh, nothing, SpongeBob. You just struck another pedestrian.
Mrs. Puff calls him a pedestrian, which sounds more like she thinks he's just some random Bikini Bottom citizen. The different types of marine life in SpongeBob are...
Or she knows, but doesn't want SpongeBob to know. And she knows that she can say just he's a pedestrian because he's stupid, and he will believe it.
so diverse and weird looking that it's not too hard to believe that the characters just think these filmmakers are another weird type of fish. And back to the gorilla episode, the gorilla and the horse immediately get nervous.
Enjoy Belasia stream, now with 15 emotes in each sub. Are you about the reacting to the sleeping? I'll be advertising myself.
Run away when SpongeBob questions what's going on.
Well, it's funny you should... I mean, see, George, they're onto us!
Let's get out of here.
Almost like the creators don't want the characters to be aware their lives are being interfered with. Now, there isn't a ton of footage of the characters interacting with the filmmakers, but I dug really, really deep and found the smoking gun that answers all of our questions. This is an old
Sponge cock nothing pants. Oh, I don't believe any of these conspiracies. Do you know them all? Do you know them all? So you don't believe? You have to know what you don't believe in.
Commercial from 2004 made to promote the SpongeBob movie.
Of course. So we've watched it all.
SpongeBob, what kind of jellyfish is that?
It's not a jellyfish, Patrick. It's a spaceship.
Hey guys, it's Carlos from the Zone.
I don't remember it.
A few questions.
Questions? Run for your life!
Wait, what is this episode?
That answers all of our questions. This dug really, really deep and found the smoking gun that answers all of our questions.
Smoking.
This is an old commercial from 2004 made to promote the
commercial.
SpongeBob movie.
SpongeBob, what kind of jellyfish is that?
It's not a jellyfish, Patrick. It's a spaceship.
Hey guys, it's Carlos from the Zone. I was wondering if you could answer a few questions.
Questions? Run for your lives!
No, Pat, don't you see? It wants to learn about our world, and it's chosen us.
What? Yay! We've been chosen.
A submarine comes down to SpongeBob and Patrick to ask questions to promote the new movie. SpongeBob and Patrick are clearly confused by this and think the submarine is some kind of alien. They also have no idea that they're the stars of a movie.
Well, thanks guys. We'll see you in the movie.
Bye!
Movie? What's that?
I know.
They have movies in Bikini Bottom.
At this point that the characters are unaware their lives are being filmed and interfered with. But there are some characters that have to have some level of awareness. For example, the Dr. Fish that told the human hand to treat SpongeBob, and the Director Fish that directed the commercial for the human world. What makes these characters so special? First off, the Director Fish isn't actually from Bikini Bottom. Before he directed this commercial, we saw him as a citizen of New Kelp City in the episode Whatever Happened to SpongeBob. Out of all the
special delivery! Yay! Ashkai came back from the shop with snackies and drinks.
They specifically chose a character.
I have to go to bathroom anyway, so how long to the end of this one? Oh, we're not gonna finish it, but let's finish the sentence at least.
From out of town. Almost like the filmmakers didn't want to use anyone in Bikini Bottom so they wouldn't risk everyone finding out about the television show. Then there's the Dr. Fish. We don't know where he originally came from, but he's an extremely suspicious character. Usually he's purple, but sometimes he's orange, sometimes he's purple with orange hands, sometimes he's a pirate, and he bears a striking resemblance to Dr. Manowar from the Jellyfish Convention.
And now it only hurts when you touch it.
Why does he have so many different disguises and identities? What is he hiding? Okay, so this isn't directly related to the television theory, but I have something really interesting to say about this doctor. In season 14's Don't Make Me Laugh, we see the Dr. Fish wearing
Death Note music. Any Death Note watchers? It's the Death Note soundtrack.
Orange gloves, and I'm pretty sure this is like a super subtle reference to this one time that he randomly
I wasn't focused.
Season 14's Don't Make Me Laugh, we see the Dr. Fish wearing orange gloves, and I'm pretty sure this is like a super subtle reference to this one time that he randomly had orange arms in season 1. It's like they're trying to retcon this old animation.
Or maybe here he also had gloves.
Mistake and give it an in-universe explanation. They also did this with Perch Perkins, a side character who's notoriously switched back and forth between having orange and purple skin throughout the entire show. But in season 13, we get this close-up shot of him where we can see little smudges of purple makeup, implying his inconsistent colors was always him just wearing makeup.
Oh, I thought that it's smudges because he makes himself orange. And, you know, Patrick rubs his face, so the makeup is going off. I think, actually, I disagree. I think he's purple and he's painting himself orange. And because of rubbing, it takes off. Death Note is available on all the streaming sites, even the free ones. Why were you a Death Note maker? Why are you making an ad to Death Note?
It's like the creators are telling us that little details matter. Even things that are obviously just animation mistakes have explanations in the lore of this show. Okay, sorry for the tangent. I just thought that was really interesting. Back to the theory.
Okay, I have to pee, so I will go pee and take some non-alcoholic beer for myself. Maybe for you too. I will think about it. So be right back, okay, guys? I'm here. Fake news. I lied to you all. I have normal beer. Wahaha. Oh, I didn't lie. I just changed my mind. Because beer is non-alcoholic beer was just bought, so it was warm, and we had one normal in our fridge, and it's cold, so I decided I prefer the cold one. And I also have some Pringles. If you guys want some. Wait, I have to change my bowl. It doesn't smell good sometimes. Sometimes things from the not washing machine, dishwasher. Oh, dishwasher. Sometimes they don't smell. Just wait, I will just exchange my bowl. Give me a second. I'm back. This time for sure, I swear. Okay. You want some? Okay, how loud it will be if I eat it? Wait. Okay, my microphone settings changed. If I sound scuffed, it's because Windows is stupid. Okay. Now it should be good. Okay, how loud will it be if I eat it? It's good, okay. Mike doesn't catch it.
I believe hidden throughout Bikini Bottom are spies like this, who are aware they're in a television show and keep tabs on the main character.
Wait. I did I show something here? I forgot I am sure screaming. I was... Never mind. I don't think I show something.
And make sure everything goes to plan. There's so many suspicious characters in Bikini Bottom that it could literally be anyone. The mailman, the hot dog vendor, Old Man Jenkins, it could literally be anyone. Some people have pointed out that there's this scene with Patrick that could be implying he is a self-aware spy.
3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
But since this is the only example of anything suspicious with Patrick, I think it's a little more likely that he's just too stupid to understand what he's doing here. But what if I told you that the biggest spy of all isn't some random side character? It's one of the main characters of the show. Someone who's been there from the very beginning. Someone who's not even from Bikini Bottom. Someone who's not even from the ocean. That's right. Sandy Cheeks.
I believe that.
Sandy Cheeks is the thrill-seeking scientific squirrel from Texas who lives underwater in her tree dome. But why did she come to Bikini Bottom? In the episode Chimps Ahoy, we find out she was hired by a group of chimpanzees to come underwater and create inventions. But why does she need to be underwater to make inventions? She could have just as easily made any of her inventions on land. It must be extremely expensive to maintain a giant dome of air underwater. There is no way the only reason she's here is to make random inventions. I think this whole episode is an elaborate ruse to throw off the other characters from the real reason Sandy is in Bikini Bottom, to spy on the main characters and make sure the show stays on track. Many of the times the characters are in danger, Sandy conveniently steps in to save the day, and many of the wacky, entertaining episode plots are driven by an invention Sandy creates. Everything she does is a calculated move to carry out
that makes sense, actually.
Her entire friendship with SpongeBob and the other characters is built on a lie. But you're probably saying, Sandy is a sweet, friendly squirrel. There's no way she's behind this. You're not convinced yet? That's okay. Because what I'm about to show you is so mind-blowing, so insanely revealing, that it's actually the whole reason I decided to make this video. Get ready for the big one. Season 10, Episode 10, Feral Friends, is the episode that unlocks this entire mystery. During a birthday party, a green moon suddenly appears and turns everyone except Sandy into less evolved, real-life versions of themselves. Sandy is completely caught off guard by this and decides to call someone for help. And take a guess who she calls.
Hello, French narrator speaking.
Wait, he is French? You know this episode, Tsiwa. I didn't know. I heard French people speaking. It's not French accent. I don't know.
It's me, Sandy.
Ah, Sandy Cheeks. How is it hanging?
Oh, it's not hanging too good, Frenchie. You see, there's this...
Don't say another word. I have been monitoring the behavior of the green moon all day.
Huh, yeah, I guess that's a pretty interesting clip, yeah.
Exaggerated French accent. Yeah, maybe it's like faked French accent, right? Like, I feel like Americans really like faking accents. For some reason. And maybe he's Canadian. He said he's French. He said, hello, French narrator speaking. Yeah, for some reason, I don't know. They very often also like make a Russian accent, which I think is like sounds very fake. I said it before because the same is with Polish. Like we have hard r in our language, but when I try to speak in English, I try to make r, not r. I'm not saying color. What's your favorite color? I'm not speaking like that, right? I'm saying, what's your favorite color? I try to make your accent. So this is what's always bothering me in these fake accents. When we speak in English, we try to speak with English accent, bruh. I like speaking like a cowboy. How's cowboy speaking? Thank you so much, Go Diane Love. You became a bunny. Thank you so much. Now you have cute bunny badge and cute emotes. Thank you. And you're in my bunny army. If you like our community, you can also join Discord, ! Discord. We play Wordle there every day and chat a little bit. Welcome.
Sandy literally calls the narrator to let him know what's going on and asks for instructions on what to do next. She has been working with him the entire fucking time. He even has a picture of her on his desk.
Thank you, Lam. Should I react this much? Am I better reactor?
My mind is just blowing up. My mind is just exploding, dude. This is
Damn.
crazy.
I have to react more, so he put me in the video. I have to be like, what? My head hurts. Do you want me guys to react this way? Should I react this way?
This, but there has been a major new development for this Sandy is a spy theory. In the brand new SpongeBob movie, Saving Bikini Bottom, we basically get outright confirmation of this theory. Like, it's not even up for debate anymore. The movie reveals Sandy has been working for human scientists this entire time, and we even see this.
The reason I'm back in Texas is because Bikini Bottom...
weren't that the town you were spying on?
I weren't spying. I was doing observations.
Direct confirmation that Sandy is a spy 3 years after I posted my television theory.
I'm doing something great and beautiful.
After?
Thanks to your scientific...
Okay, if the Bikini Bottom guys were smart enough, they would arrest her, right? Isn't like spying illegal? Like spy from another country is illegal. They put them in jail, right? So shouldn't from Bikini Bottom guys, when they found out, shouldn't they put her in jail or something? What's this movie, bro?
I thought I knew you.
It does seem like she didn't know the full extent of what was happening.
I didn't know that you were using me to spy on Bikini Bottom.
And also, it's never outright said that the humans are using them for a secret TV show. It's actually more about using them to create merchandise in the plot of this movie. But we do get confirmation that they've always been filming them, and that the human company that Sandy works for was recently bought out by a different company, which explains why they're focusing more on merchandise in this movie rather than a TV show.
You have reached Boots Laboratories, now a division of Gushing Waters Water Parks, and future home of Sea Pals.
Either way, I'm gonna take the W.
Spying is legal in the United States? I doubt it. Like, if there was a like Chinese spy or Russian spy in your country, and it would be found out that they were spying in the government, wouldn't they be arrested? I think they would be.
This theory aged very, very well. This is where I originally planned on ending the video, but there is still one small issue with the television theory. Just one nagging plot hole that contradicts everything. If this is all a television show filmed by scuba divers, then how are we seeing inside the buildings? It's not like any of the humans filming the show could fit inside them. It's the one annoying thing that keeps this theory from being complete.
Cameras inside. It's just planted. They just planted them in their house.
I mean, the most logical explanation is that they have hidden cameras inside of everyone's homes, but we never really see anything like that. Holy shit. Season 6, Episode 24, Truth or Square. The SpongeBob 10th Anniversary Special where they reveal lots of stuff about the characters. But the most damning piece of evidence comes from when the characters get lost in the Krusty Krab vents and end up in a room full of monitors showing live footage of all of their homes.
Oh, my house is on TV.
All of our houses are on.
There are several known spies that just date government workers and politicians, as well as spies are workers and politicians. I didn't understand this sentence. That just date government workers and politicians, as well as spies who are workers and politicians. Is this true? Is this like confirmed?
TV. Mr. Krabs, why do you have cameras watching us?
Oh, I just want to make sure you all floss after every meal.
Thank you, Mr. Krabs. Dental hygiene is very, very important.
Dental hygiene? Eugene, you lying bastard. Of course he would sell out his friends for a quick buck. And if there's any part of you that thinks there's some chance Mr. Krabs has all these hidden cameras for some other reason, then take a look at what happens next.
Hey, who are those guys?
I think it's us, Patrick. But who are they?
Whoa! That's crazy. That is crazy.
Alright, they're not even trying to hide it anymore.
Does this guy never watch SpongeBob episode? Like, no hate on him. But did he never watch it?
A cameraman and a boom operator have been following around the characters this entire time. And just like the gorilla, as soon as they get seen, they make a run for it. Okay, so obviously, in the new Sandy movie, Mr. Krabs sort of acts surprised and betrayed by Sandy being a spy, which kind of makes it seem like he's not a spy, but think about it. If you were...
But if we remember the previous theory, he's the imagined Mr. Krab, not the real Mr. Krab. So, real Mr. Krab might know about it all, but then he was lost somewhere, and imagined Mr. Krab, made by SpongeBob, didn't know about it. You know what I'm saying?
Mr. Krabs and a fellow spy's cover was just blown, you're not just gonna confess that you are also a spy. You're obviously gonna play along and pretend like you didn't know anything. I don't think this really disproves anything here.
Oh, he said it.
Play along and pretend like you didn't know anything. I don't think...
Also, if this is a fake imaginary Mr. Krabs, then he probably wouldn't even know Sandy was a spy. Yeah, actually, the camera moment happened before the crossroads scene in the vents, meaning the Mr. Krab who was the spy is still stuck in the vents, and the imaginary doppelganger Krabs didn't know about SpongeBob. The one who created him doesn't know about the spy, that's what I'm saying. I have to go, but it was fun. See you later. Bye. Thank you so much for stopping by and for subbing. I hope to see you on Monday stream. The same time on Monday. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day or night or whatever.
This really disproves anything here. The case is closed. The television theory is something the show has consistently alluded to from the very first episode to the newest episode. Television theory is something the show has consistently alluded to from the very first episode to the newest episodes. Maybe one day the show will actually directly address it and our characters will discover the real truth about their world. But regardless, that's my theory. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hey, whoa, hang on a second. You thought I forgot about the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy thing, didn't ya? Alright, here's a quick bonus theory. Oh yeah, I guess this one already kind of had a bonus mini theory. I'll still do a new proper mini theory after this, so don't worry.
Okay.
Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy were two superheroes that fought crime underwater and protected the sea from evil. Whether or not they actually did this or was all staged for television isn't clear, but they both spent their lives underwater until they became old and retired. But after spending so much time under the sea, they no longer fit in with human society. Plus, Mermaid Man is clearly dealing with some form of dementia and PTSD from fighting evil.
But you can't retire. There's evil afoot. What evil?
That's sad.
So, they decided to live the rest of their lives in Bikini Bottom, and in order to fit in better with their fellow sea creatures, they made the permanent decision to shrink themselves using Mermaid Man's shrinking belt.
Oh yeah, he has shrink belt, duh.
Again. These theories are they're crazy, man. I don't know where he comes up with it. I don't know how he finds it.
Watching
but the
SpongeBob,
man
of course.
He's spot on. He is spot on. I believe all of it.
Okay, I'm just gonna say it right now. The television theory is the best SpongeBob theory I have ever made. Like it's not even close. If you were to ask me if any of my theories were actually intended by the creators, I'd definitely say the television theory. There is just so much evidence that this was actually planned from the start, and now 3 years later, there's a movie that's directly confirming it. This theory literally changes everything
This guy predicted
about this show,
it.
and it's so big that I end up using it in
That's
almost
huge.
all of my future theories, and I've got a bunch of new television theory-related discoveries inside of the coming mini-theories too. Speaking of which...
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine.
So, there's
Really
this
scary?
viral image that's gone around the internet that points out a really funny detail about this show. There seems to be a frightening number of miniature dead human skeletons in SpongeBob. And it's a really funny observation, but it's also really strange because why are there a bunch of mini dead human skeletons in SpongeBob? Like, the animators already have a generic design for a fish skeleton. Why are they going out of their way to make these human skeletons? They're obviously much more detailed and harder to draw. And this is something we see in both early and modern SpongeBob. Well, I think the television theory actually provides a pretty good explanation for this. We know there's tons of human scuba divers secretly filming the show, and it even looks like some of them are fish-sized, and we know there is shrinking technology in this show, so like I've already said, I think it's fair to assume that humans shrunk themselves down to better film these characters undetected, which explains why we see so many tiny human skeletons. They're
Why
the
they
crew
died?
members who sadly passed away during the filming of SpongeBob.
They didn't clean
are
them?
deep underwater after all. It's not the safest place for humans to be. And that's about all I had to say about this topic. It's not actually that interesting. I probably wouldn't have even bothered making this separate mini theory if it wasn't for a very interesting piece of SpongeBob history that was recently made public. The original SpongeBob Pitch Bible, the document created by Steven Hillenburg in 1997 to pitch the show to Nickelodeon, was just recently finally made available to the public. And it is full of fascinating early ideas and concept art for the show. But what's interesting to me is that much like the show itself, the Pitch Bible is presented like a fictional in-universe report from a team of deep-sea divers discovering Bikini Bottom for the first time. An afternoon ascent into the deep crystalline gulf, which plummets from the island's coral base, revealed the natural wonder which had so long eluded the eyes of mankind. We had indeed found Sponge Boy. which was the original name for SpongeBob. There before us, glistening in the glow of our dive lamps, sat a submerged treasure unlike any other in the world. We were afforded a first-hand glimpse into the character of SpongeBob and his world. It's crazy that even the pitch Bible for this show has lore. If this doesn't prove the television theory, I don't know what does. But there's something in this Bible that I always thought was a little strange. On page 12, there's a dedication section. It describes one of the first expeditions to Bikini Bottom taken by a deep-sea diver named Bucky Leavitt, using a new and untested diving suit, which ultimately imploded from the undersea pressures. Bucky died making the only known map of Bikini Bottom. It is to Bucky and his pioneer spirit that we dedicate this research. It's kind of a strange thing to include in a pitch for a kid's show, of all things. The story seems to be inspired by Benjamin Leavitt, the inventor of the suit shown in this photo, but there's no record of him ever dying during an expedition. So it seems like this story about Bucky was completely made up just to add more lore to the show. So it then begs the question, if he is a character in this universe, where is Bucky's body? Could he possibly be one of the human skeletons we've seen throughout the show? Well, we know Bucky died in his old prototype diving suit, so I think his body would probably still be inside of it. So the real question is, do we know of any diving suits in Bikini Bottom? And yes, we do. We see it almost every episode. SpongeBob's television. SpongeBob's TV is clearly supposed to be an old diving suit helmet, but it's strange because it's so small compared to diving suits we've seen worn by other humans. So either this diving suit is from a shrunken human, or it's been compressed down to a smaller size by the pressures of the sea.
I don't know about the compression thing.
We even see SpongeBob's TV design was a part of the original pitch Bible. I think there's a very good chance that this is supposed to be at least the head of Bucky Leavitt. I think every time SpongeBob is watching TV, he's actually staring directly at a dead human skull. And if you don't believe me, in Season 10's Whirly Brain, SpongeBob and Patrick fight over the TV and actually pull it apart. And for the very first time ever, we get a look inside. It's an extremely fast moment, but if you go frame by frame, you'll see that inside of SpongeBob's TV...
What? Really? No way.
Extremely fast moment, but if you go frame by... It's an extremely fast moment,
it is.
But if you go frame by frame, you'll see that inside of SpongeBob's TV is what looks like a human skull.
That's
and that
crazy!
Is skeleton theory. Rest in peace, Bucky.
Bro! Scary!
This is not Mrs. Puff. You may think she's just SpongeBob's boating teacher, but you'd be very, very wrong. For years, she's been running from her dark and mysterious past, but it's finally caught up to her. And behind it all is a mastermind who's been secretly controlling her life and psychologically torturing her. If you guys thought my last two theories were mind-blowing, get ready for my biggest conspiracy yet. This is the Mrs. Puff theory. Now, a lot of people have been asking, Alex, how do you come up with these crazy conspiracy theories?
Yeah.
Well, I always start these theories by looking for the moments in the show that seem to be implying more than they're letting on. Like I've said before, SpongeBob is a weird show with lots of abstract humor, but I can usually understand the intent the writers had behind a weird joke. But then there's stuff like this.
I hope I still remember how to do this.
Yeah. And it's so confusing and weird that it feels like the writers are trying to imply something beyond just weirdness for the sake of comedy. And nowhere in the show is there more of these moments than with Mrs. Puff. And once I started looking into it, it led me down the deepest rabbit hole I've ever seen from this show. So, let's begin. Mrs. Puff is a boating school teacher in Bikini Bottom. She's passed all of her students except for one, SpongeBob SquarePants. He's taken her driver's test hundreds of times, and he always ends up failing it and causing destruction and chaos that usually ends up with Mrs. Puff going to jail, despite it not really being her fault. We also know that she was once married, but her husband was killed by fishermen.
That's my driving teacher, Mrs. Puff.
Mrs. Puff? Oh, she's married.
Oh no, Mr. Krabs, she's single.
Then what happened to Mr. Puff?
She doesn't like to talk about it.
Throughout the show, there are moments like this that seem to be hinting at her having a dark, mysterious past. And in Season 2, Episode 10, No Free Rides, we get the biggest clue about who Mrs. Puff really is. After SpongeBob fails the driving test yet again, Mrs. Puff has just had it with him and ends up just giving up and giving him his license even though he never really passed. She quickly realizes that this is a horrible idea and he'll probably end up destroying the entire town.
So much
Mean
destruction.
Mafia games?
This reporter asks, why? Local consensus places the blame on this
Is there theory about this guy? Why is he like this?
negligent, selfish driving instructor who...
Remember this clip, because it's going to be very important later on. And then she says this insanely revealing line.
What have I done? Everyone will know that I let him slide through school. I'll have to move to a new city, start a new boating school with a new name. No, not again.
No, not again. Come on, it's like they're just begging someone to make a theory about this.
Ooh.
So we now know Mrs. Puff was originally from a different town, she used to own a different boating school, and Mrs. Puff isn't even her real name. There's something in her past that she ran away from. Now, there's been some debate over whether she's actually referring to a new name for herself or for her boating school, but I do think she's talking about her own name, because if she's trying to run away from something in her past, she wouldn't start a new boating school with her real name in the title. Now, when she says again, I don't think she's just referring to starting a new life.
Everyone will know that I let him slide through school. Not again.
I think at her previous boating school, she had a terrible student just like SpongeBob who she prematurely gave a license to, and it led to something so terrible happening that she had to run away and start a whole new life. In Season 3, Episode 5, Doing Time, we get a flashback to when she first opened up the school.
The opening of my new boating school, I pledge that as long as a student is willing to learn, I shall never give up.
Hi, I'm SpongeBob SquarePants.
With the opening of this new boating school, let's keep in mind that this is not her first boating school. Maybe the whole reason she's making this pledge now at her second school is because she gave up on a student at her previous school, and that led to her having to run away and start a new life. She's pledging to never make the same mistake again. Now let's skip ahead to one of the newer episodes. Season 12, Episode 21, Lighthouse Louie, where Mrs. Puff has SpongeBob organize all the stuff she keeps in the school's lighthouse.
I don't know
There's
that
lots of interesting
episode.
things hidden in
I
the
don't know the super new
background, but
one.
the first thing that caught my eye was this file labeled Mrs. Puff. It makes sense for a teacher to have files on all their students, but why would she have a file about herself? But let's remember, she's not
That's
Mrs.
sus.
Puff. That's a fake identity she created. And I'm willing to bet all of her fake identification documents are in this file. Hey, Alex from the future here. This is actually the file from Mrs. Puff You're Fired that shows all the time she's failed to pass SpongeBob. But let's be honest, this was the least impressive evidence in this lighthouse, so I think it's fine. But that's not the only hint about Mrs. Puff's past in this lighthouse. There is something in here that directly confirms all of this. As SpongeBob swallows all of Mrs. Puff's junk, we see something very interesting for only a few frames. Deranged boat teacher makes getaway. 10 seasons later, and the creators are still hiding stuff about Mrs. Puff fleeing her old life. It might not look like it at first.
Deranged boat teacher makes getaway, distracts authorities with balloon animals. And remember, she was like, oh, you remember how to do that? And she did the animal. Then they thought about it all. It's not like made out. They really did it. Oh my god.
But we actually get a ton of new information.
I didn't know that SpongeBob creators like are hiding things like this.
From this newspaper. This is from the New Kelp Post, which tells us Mrs. Puff originally lived in New Kelp City. Then there's a caption that reads, distracts authorities with balloon animals. And do you remember that clip from the beginning?
I hope I still remember how to do this. Yeah.
So whenever Mrs. Puff makes a getaway or commits a crime, she leaves behind a balloon animal to distract the police. I'm telling you guys, these writers don't just do stuff randomly. They have reasons for everything. Okay, so before we move on, let me talk about this newspaper. This was by far the most direct, unambiguous piece of evidence the show has ever given us for a theory, and I have never found anything else like it in the entire show. It's the white whale of SpongeBob theory evidence. But would you believe me if I told you that this newspaper actually has more hidden information inside of it that I missed. If we look at the storyboard for this episode, we can see the newspaper originally had even more information about Mrs. Puff. Obviously the big one, we now finally know Mrs. Puff's real name.
Bobby
Bobby
Blowfish.
Blowfish. Originally, we only had the date the newspaper was published, but now we have the year. This is the same year that the SpongeBob pilot came out. And finally, we now know how Mrs. Puff escaped the cops chasing her. In the bottom picture, we see her heading towards a cliff with a sign that says Rock Bottom, a place that only the most skilled drivers could navigate. How is there still so much hidden lore in this newspaper? And the most damning piece of evidence from this newspaper is actually the picture of Mrs. Puff. Kind of a strange photo, right? We have seen this exact same photo of her before. In the episode No Free Rides, when she imagines what would happen if SpongeBob got his license.
Local consensus places the blame on this negligent, selfish driving instructor.
Oh, it's the mugshot!
Ooh.
Holy fuck, bro! This isn't a conspiracy! This is real!
This means that this isn't just her imagination of what might happen. This is also her remembering what
So, or he will say that this is remembering, or she is scared that it will go out that this is her, and they will use her photo from before because they will know.
When she lived in New Kelp City and prematurely gave one of her students a license. And I'm willing to bet that the fish reporting the news is the exact same one who reported about her in New Kelp City. Let me explain. We know from the episode Whatever Happened to SpongeBob that reporters from the Bikini Bottom News can also work for the New Kelp City News. But the real reason I think this is because of his hair. In the entire show, we have never seen this fish reporter with hair before. Why would the creators go out of their way to add that detail? Because Mrs. Puff isn't imagining him as he looks now. She's remembering him from years ago when he used to have hair, when he reported about her in New Kelp City. But how does he have hair if he's a robot? Alright, listen, when you make 8 crazy different theories, sometimes they're not all gonna perfectly line up, okay? What are you gonna do? Mrs. Puff has been running from her past ever since, and is now forced to relive her experience with an unteachable student through SpongeBob. But reliving this trauma has pushed her to the point of complete insanity. And trust me when I say that you have no idea how delusional she actually is.
The insanity.
Another running gag throughout the series is Mrs. Puff's occasional nervous breakdowns or moments of insanity because of SpongeBob, and they get more severe as the show continues. At first, she did care for SpongeBob, but in the newer episodes,
everyone who would know SpongeBob would get insane. Like, every time I watched SpongeBob, I felt a little bad for Squidward. Like, I felt him. Like, he just wants to chill a little bit. He just wants to have chill. And they are not letting him. He's not a bad guy, guys. Other writers are planning this stuff because of these theories. Yeah, it gives more attention, right? Yeah. I think they probably do that. Also, I was talking before that my brother was really into creepypastas from cartoons, and I remember there was also a creepypasta, Gumball creepypasta. Like, there is this one episode, I don't remember what was the episode about, but deleted episode about something scary happening. And I remember in later Gumball episodes, they refer to it in the episode. Like, there was episode like they're searching YouTube or something, and they were referring to this trend, you know. There was a trend some time ago when you clicked on whatever link, you thought it's something else, but it was Never Gonna Give You Up, you know, the song. So in a Gumball world, it was with Chihuahua playing on saxophone. And they clicked on the video with the title as the creepypasta, as the deleted episode creepypasta. And clicked it, and there was like Chihuahua playing on a saxophone. So they were playing with guys. They were like, oh, hi! Hi, Oti Beijing Wu! I'm giving you my attention! Thank you so much for 100 bits! Hi, how are you? We are watching the SpongeBob conspiracy right now. We are getting crazy. Yeah, it's very interesting. I didn't think that things will just add up. Hi, how are you? Yeah, and right now there is this theory that Mrs. Puff is not really Mrs. Puff. And you think that's crazy, but there are actually proofs in the episodes that she changed her name and started a new life. That's crazy.
So she literally tries to kill SpongeBob just to get him out of her life. Even SpongeBob just walking up to her gives her severe PTSD.
Hi, Mrs. Puff.
Hit the brakes!
I believe that.
Watch the tree! Laugh! Wait, Mrs. Puff! We're not driving!
But these mostly seem like just one-off moments, and for the
This
most part,
poor
Mrs. Puff is still a
baby.
functioning member of society, right? I'm going to show you that she's actually much more insane and delusional than you may think. And some of the
No, she's
episodes
not
she's in
that
take place
bad.
entirely
I
in
like
her own
her.
head. If we're talking about how insane Mrs. Puff is, there is no better place to start than the episode Doing Time. Once again, SpongeBob fails the boating test and causes destruction and chaos, which leads to Mrs. Puff going to jail. SpongeBob keeps breaking into jail to try and bust her out, but Mrs. Puff
This episode is crazy. He's making her crazy. She thought she's finally chill, but he's like haunting her.
actually prefers being in jail over teaching him. We actually get another interesting line about Mrs. Puff's past in this episode.
Okay, you can do this, Puff. You can get through this without losing your sanity. Oh, that's a road we don't want to go down again.
So we know that Mrs. Puff has lost her sanity in the past, probably from a previous terrible student. But it seems like she's recovered since then, except in this episode she has a complete mental breakdown. SpongeBob keeps appearing in impossible places until she gets thrown into solitary confinement, where each wall of the room transforms into a giant SpongeBob face. And then the
Nightmare.
episode ends in a way that's so weird and confusing that it rivals the infamous gorilla episode ending. As Mrs. Puff freaks out, she's suddenly transported back into the beginning of the episode when SpongeBob was taking the test. Except this time, SpongeBob gets arrested instead of her.
Help! Help! No! This is not a good time! No!
I can't believe it. It was all a dream. I'm not going to jail.
Why would you go to jail? You already did your time.
What's going on?
Forget it.
So what's really going on in this episode? Was the ending all in her head? Is Mrs. Puff just caught in an endless loop? I think this entire episode is inside of Mrs. Puff's head, and she's actually on the outside the whole time, but she's been imagining herself inside of prison. I can explain. Listen closely to what
Okay, I
the police
believe
officer
that.
tells Mrs. Puff.
I'm not going to jail.
Why would you go to jail? You already did your time.
Why would you go to jail? You already did your time. And then revealing she's still in a prison uniform despite being on the outside. So this scene is obviously inside of her head, which means everything we see is symbolic. And if we can understand the symbolism of it, we can understand what's really going on with Mrs. Puff. Notice how she's suddenly wearing a black and white striped prison uniform, even though the entire episode she's been wearing this orange jumpsuit. Why would the creators go to the extra effort to draw a whole new prison uniform for her? Well, we've seen her wear this black and white prison uniform before, the very first time she went to prison back in Season 1, Episode 7, Hall Monitor. So when the police officer says, "You've already done your time," he's referring to the first time she went to jail. But why is she still wearing that uniform outside of prison? Well, she may have gotten out of jail, but she was by no means free. Having to teach SpongeBob is a prison in itself, and she manifests that by believing she's in jail and wearing a prison uniform despite being on the outside. This
Do you know this theory? It started with that Mrs. Puff is not real Mrs. Puff. And it sounds crazy, but he actually proved it. Like, Mrs. Puff, at some point, started new life with new name and new job and everything. And there are proofs in the episodes. There is even a piece, like a piece paper, piece paper, showing, like, proving it for like a smidge of a second. It's crazy. And now it's about that Miss Puff is insane, and this guy trying to prove to us that she's insane. It's why to see all of this. Yeah, but to be honest, I'm impressed. I thought that it's all gonna be like, you know, some creepypasta, something made up. but I like to see proofs in actual episodes.
Entire episode, every time SpongeBob magically appears, is all inside of her head. She is completely delusional, and hints that she's experiencing these hallucinations don't stop there. Just 6 episodes later, she goes to a house party SpongeBob throws, and while everyone is talking and having a good time, in the background we see she's literally sitting by herself talking to an ice sculpture of SpongeBob. You can't tell me this isn't intentional. I mean,
She's really talking. Oh my god, that's such a little detail. You wouldn't see that, no? She's just sitting there and talking. Bro, it's me on the parties.
Look at this. By herself.
No fucking way! You're lying. You're lying. You're lying. That is insane. That is actually insane.
That's so funny.
Now back in the episode No Free Rides, there is a very strange picture inside of Mrs. Puff's home. It's a
I want to have on a wall picture of me entering the room. That's so funny. Oh my god, I would love to have imagine picture of me on a wall walking into the room, bro. Or somewhere here I should have a picture of me like sitting on like at the desk. Bro.
Picture of Mrs. Puff inside of a picture of Mrs. Puff inside of a picture of Mrs. Puff, creating an infinite loop. This is something that has confused SpongeBob fans for years. But like everything in the show, there is a reason for it being there. One of the SpongeBob storyboard artists actually called it the biggest mystery in the entire show.
If talking to an ice sculpture is insane, then look me up in the asylum. Okay, bro. I think they're coming for you. I think that is insane. Okay, is it insane or is it just having fun? Like, bro, why we can't just talk to ice sculpture? Like, if there's no someone like interesting in a room, I might as well talk to ice sculpture, right?
Think about it, this is just like the end of Doing Time, where she's stuck in an infinite loop of SpongeBob failing the driving test. Because it's all symbolic of what her life is, just an endless cycle of SpongeBob taking the test and failing, and no matter what—
And also another loop, that she had previous life and had troubles, she had student like him and get in trouble and, you know, and she started a new life and this all happening again. Right?
What she does to try and escape, she always ends up back in the same place at the end of the episode. So this picture is another symbolic manifestation of what she's feeling. We even see another one of these pictures all the way in Season 9, Episode 5, Bumper to Bumper. And hey, we got another one in Season 13, Potato Puff. This is something that the show is consistently alluding to. Mrs. Puff is an unreliable narrator, and anything we see with her could potentially all be inside of her own head. In fact, I believe I found another episode that takes place inside of her head. In Season 9, Episode 17, SpongeBob Long Pants, SpongeBob goes to a different boating instructor and actually gets his license. But as soon as he does, we briefly cut to Mrs. Puff waking up.
You pass.
I finally got my driver's license!
Lock your doors, bar your windows, it's the end of the world!
Now, this seems like it's probably just a throwaway gag where Mrs. Puff somehow senses that SpongeBob got his license and it causes her to wake up and freak out. You know, it's a good bit, it's funny, but I have a question. If the joke is that she's supposed to be waking up at the exact time SpongeBob gets his license, how come she wakes up at night when SpongeBob clearly gets his license during the day? Because this entire episode actually takes place inside of Mrs. Puff's head. And this is the only part of the episode in the real world.
I don't know what that was all about, but I'm glad it's over.
Originally, I paused the theory here to explain how we're able to see her hallucinations.
Hey! This time it worked. That was loud. Yeah. Arch Nemesis. Yeah, it's not like I added this thing here. I gave you a possibility to do this. Who got scared? Tell the truth. Don't hide it. Who jumped?
after documentary in my television theory. But if everything's supposed to be from a camera, then how are we seeing things from inside Mrs. Puff's head? In fact, how do we see dreams and flashbacks and thought bubbles? But I already explained that in my new imagination mini theory, so definitely check that one out if you missed it. It adds a whole new layer to why Mrs. Puff is hallucinating so much. Back to the theory, we know that her insanity has caused her to live a life of delusion, but if you remember back to the Lighthouse episode, she's also become an extreme hoarder, and looking at her collection of junk is like a look directly into her mind, so there's gotta be something we can learn about her from it. There's a picture of her boyfriend, Mr. Krabs, the one under her belt she gives her students.
Is he still her boyfriend?
Drawings her students make her, SpongeBob's diary, a boating safety helmet. Wait.
SpongeBob's diary?
SpongeBob's diary? Why does she have SpongeBob's diary? The last time we saw that, it was safely put away in SpongeBob's library. What's it
That's scary.
doing in her lighthouse? And why does she have Squidward's painting? And a table from the Krusty Krab? And SpongeBob's bike? And Squidward's teddy bear? And the hair curlers Mr. Krabs had?
How do you call someone addicted from stealing? A kleptomaniac?
Okay, so technically those were originally Mrs. Puff's hair curlers.
Even Mrs. Puff's hair curlers?
That one was a gift.
But it's implied that Mr. Krabs stole...
Hi, YNK. Hi, how are you? She's dating Patrick? No, she was dating Mr. Krabs, no? Hi, we're watching the SpongeBob Conspiracy compilation. And right now, it's about Mrs. Puff. Before, the guy showed that, proved that she started a new life before and that she's not really called Mrs. Puff. And like, this is a fake name. And now he's proving that she's insane. And there was a scene he's referring to right now where there was a bunch of her stuff. And there were like SpongeBob diaries and stuff. And why does she has that? It's kind of scary. I watched some. It's like compilation from all of these guys. I always forgot his name. Alex Bale. SpongeBob Conspiracies is like compilation for hours. So yeah, at moments it is scary.
Them from her, so her having them now probably means she stole them back. It still works for the point I'm trying to make. And that statue of Squidward, and that diamond ring, and that crown, and that bucket of radioactive waste, and that jellyfish sign? Oh my god. Mrs. Puff is a kleptomaniac. Mrs. Puff has been stealing from everyone in Bikini Bottom.
But it doesn't make her insane.
From season 3, episode 19
it just makes her kleptomaniac.
Since I was a little girl.
I don't remember that one.
You've had that snail since you've been a little girl, huh? Then how come that is the exact same snail Squidward had 4 episodes ago in the Great Snail Race?
I wouldn't let Snelly here play with that mongrel mutt. She's a purebred. See?
I don't remember. It looks like old episode because it's in square, but I don't remember these ones.
She even has her own papers.
He even has her paperwork. Mrs. Puff clearly stole the snail from Squidward. But why the hell would Mrs. Puff steal all this other junk? What possible use could she have for any of it? We could find...
I watched some about Squidward and his history. Oh, we didn't watch this one. It was, the first one was about Squilliam, the evil guy that, you know, the evil friend of Squidward. But maybe later it will be about Squidward.
The answer to that question by looking at this green hat and this purple jacket. These were gifts Mr. Krabs bought her on their first date, but she ended up feeling uncomfortable receiving them and gave them back to him.
I'm afraid I just don't feel comfortable accepting all these gifts.
Except apparently she's not too uncomfortable to steal them back afterwards. So clearly Mrs. Puff isn't stealing this stuff because she wants to use it. She just steals for the thrill of it. Maybe stealing things is her way of coping with the insanity of her everyday life. And remember, this isn't the first time she's gone insane.
You can get through this without losing your...
The one who looked like him, he spy him. Squidward, oh, then don't spoil it. We will watch it. Don't spoil the theory.
Oh, that's a
we didn't watch that one yet.
I have reason to believe that she started stealing things way back whenever she first went insane.
I hope I still remember how to do this.
I don't think she's just talking about remembering how to make balloon animals. She's probably also referring to remembering how to steal a boat. And if that's not enough for you, in a SpongeBob comic book, she actually admits that she used to rob banks, and she wears the exact same ski mask. Ooh, and we can see the ski mask in the newspaper storyboard. That's cool. Mrs. Puff lives a completely delusional and miserable life, all because she has to teach SpongeBob how to drive. It's led her to steal from the people she cares about and completely disassociate from reality. But that begs a very
My favorite
question.
scene of this all is when she's talking here. Yeah, apparently there are also comics.
From reality. But that begs a very important question. If SpongeBob is causing her life to be so miserable, then why does she even keep teaching him? After all the destruction and pain he's caused, she'd totally be justified to expel him, right? I mean, she will literally try and kill him so she doesn't have to teach him, but for some reason she can't just expel him.
To be fair, she was pushed to her breaking point in this episode. She usually doesn't want to harm him. He's trying so hard to sounds like Marat. Who's Matpat? Matpat? Wait, Matpat. I heard that before, but I don't know who's Matpat. Oh.
It's almost like there's someone forcing her to teach SpongeBob.
The mastermind? There's deeper?
Back to the episode No Free Rides. After prematurely giving SpongeBob a license, she steals his boatmobile.
In theory, Matpat? I still don't know.
So he can't hurt anyone. In the end, this causes her to get arrested and go to jail, but then SpongeBob tells her this.
And besides, the warden says she'll let you go early if you do her a favor.
What's that?
Free driving lessons!
She'll get to leave prison early if she gives free driving lessons. That seems like an oddly specific requirement. And that's not the only time this gets mentioned either. In Season 9, Episode 5, Bumper to Bumper, we get this scene.
If only SpongeBob could pass his boating test, he'd be out of my life once and for all. Unfortunately, I keep getting reminded of the consequences if I get too angry with the little nuisance.
Consequences? Are you telling me that if she refuses to teach SpongeBob specifically, she'll be violating her parole and get sent back to jail? Why does the prison even care if Mrs. Puff teaches SpongeBob? Is it just part of some weird community service?
Or, let me talk before him. Maybe it's connected to the other theory that this is all like, you know, show recorded, and they think that it's entertaining when SpongeBob fails over and over, so they made her do this.
But things start to get really suspicious at the end of Season 7, Episode 5, Summer Job. Once again, Mrs. Puff ends up in jail, but this time she's forced to go to a prison boating school.
Oh, wow! A driver's education class!
Good day, class!
I must be having a nightmare! What's he doing here?
Dear Mrs. Puff, I'm following in your footsteps and got a job as a driver's ed teacher for the summer.
Why he
Who in their
teaches?
right mind would hire SpongeBob to do this after he's literally destroyed the city countless times while driving? Is this just another one of Mrs. Puff's delusions? Or is the prison intentionally forcing her to be around SpongeBob just to torture her? I mean, look at the way the guard forces her to sit there and listen to him.
Get me out of here!
And look at that evil smile he has as he watches her
He's
endure this
evil!
torture. There is something very strange going on with this prison. Then, in Season 10, Episode 8, The Getaway, Mrs. Puff meets a criminal named Dorsal Dan and starts to get romantic feelings for him. This is also while she's still dating Mr. Krabs. Shame on you, Mrs. Puff. At the end of the episode, they both accidentally land in prison, and the warden puts him in solitary confinement.
Warden, I found this one pulling up outside the prison.
Dorsal Dan, a notorious getaway driver. Toss him in the clink.
I'll wait for you, my little tenderfoot.
She says tenderfoot here, by the way, because he was really good at driving. A lot of people thought she said something else. In or out of jail, this prison will stop at nothing to make sure she is alone and miserable. But why? Who's behind all of this? Why would anyone care this much about torturing Mrs. Puff? Who's the mastermind pulling the strings? Well, maybe it has something to do with her old life in New Kelp City. Maybe she crossed someone and they've been plotting their revenge ever since. But I've looked in every single frame of New Kelp City, and there is nothing connecting it back to the prison. I've looked literally everywhere, and there's not a single person from the city that has anything to do with Mrs. Puff.
Unless...
Well, I mean, maybe except for the literal warden of the prison she's being kept in! He may be hiding slightly off screen, but that is clearly the same warden of the Bikini Bottom prison. And this isn't some random background character that the show reuses all the time. He is a very distinct character. You can call me out on the Squilliam video all you want, but not this time. I've got some new thoughts on this mastermind warden theory, but I'll save them for the next mini theory. But wait a second, wait a second. If the warden was originally from New Kelp City, then he'd probably know about Mrs. Puff's dark past and her true identity. So why hasn't he exposed her? He's just kept quiet about the fact that one of his inmates is living a completely false identity. She'd probably even get more prison time when they find out who she really is, so why—
It's getting more and more complicated. Oh, I muted it.
Time when they find out who she really is, so why hasn't he said anything? This is where things get very interesting. So, we know Mrs. Puff prematurely gave a student at her original boating school a license, and that led to them causing chaos and destruction. Maybe this student accidentally did something terrible to the warden, and he's blamed Mrs. Puff ever since. Whatever happened was so terrible that it caused him to move to Bikini Bottom and get a job as the warden of the town's prison. And to his surprise, he finds out that one of his inmates is actually the person he blames for that terrible thing happening. This works out perfectly for him. He can finally get his revenge on Mrs. Puff by making her life miserable. All he has to do is reveal her dark secret, and she'll be stuck in jail for much longer. Except for one small issue with his plan. Mrs. Puff actually likes being in prison.
1 day down, 2,528 to go. Oh, that's just shy of 4 years without SpongeBob. I'm going to enjoy this.
So, he comes up with a new plan. Keep Mrs. Puff secret and let her out of prison early, but only under the condition that she has to teach SpongeBob. He's literally turning her normal life into a prison. And he makes sure going back to prison to avoid SpongeBob isn't even an option for her anymore, because he'll make sure that SpongeBob is always in there with her. And he's not gonna let her escape and start a new life like she did in New Kelp City. He makes sure to give her an ankle bracelet that doesn't let her leave Bikini Bottom.
I can't even leave town without violating my parole.
He is the mastermind who's been controlling everything this entire time. Alright, gonna
too
interrupt here.
much.
The warden that told Mrs. Puff she could leave prison if she gave free driving lessons was actually referred to as a female.
And besides, the warden says she'll let you go early if you do her
Oh.
a favor.
So that's my bad. That definitely wasn't the same warden. It doesn't ruin my theory, but like I said, I've got some new ideas for this part that I'll talk about later. But guess what? His insidious plan doesn't even end there. This is not the first time we've seen the warden character. We first see him in Season 4, Episode 2, Crabs vs. Plankton. In this episode, Plankton slips on some water in the Krusty Krab and decides to sue Mr. Krabs for everything he owns. And then guess who shows up out of nowhere and offers to be Mr. Krabs' lawyer?
What I really need is a good lawyer.
Did somebody say lawyer? Richard A. Bottomfeeder, attorney at law. I couldn't help but notice that despicable display.
Richard A. Bottomfeeder, the warden of the Bikini Bottom prison, is also apparently a lawyer? That's kind of strange. Those both sound like major
Are they
careers.
reusing the same character model?
Usually wouldn't imagine someone being both. Then he says he'll be Mr. Krabs' lawyer completely free of charge.
So, how much is this gonna cost me?
Actually, I won't charge a dime unless we win.
Well, that's awfully generous of you, Richard. Alright, a lot of people pointed out that this is actually something lawyers sometimes do, but when you add it up with everything else, it's still kinda suspiciously convenient. That's the point I'm trying to make here. He seems very confident that he can win the case, but right before he goes to court, he slips on some water and says SpongeBob will have to be Mr. Krabs' lawyer now.
Oh, this is gonna be a slam dunk.
Oh no! Mr. Krabs' lawyer, speak to me! Wrapped with pain, can't
Does this sound like someone who's pretending to be in pain?
move. Looks like you're gonna have to handle this one, son.
He tells SpongeBob that he has to represent Mr. Krabs, even though he himself called SpongeBob a liability.
Actually, SpongeBob, we won't be needing any testimony from you. Why, you'd be more of a liability than an asset.
But it's okay, because apparently all SpongeBob needs to win is inside of Richard's briefcase.
Everything you need to win is in this here case.
Really? Everything?
Except when SpongeBob gets to court, he realizes that Richard never gave him the combination to the case.
It's, all in here.
Really?
Yep, right In here.
Is there a problem?
Your lawyer didn't give me the combination.
Either Richard A. Bottomfeeder is the worst lawyer in history, or this is all part of his elaborate plan to ruin Mrs. Puff's life. Here's what I think happened. First, he finds out that Mr. Krabs is being sued, and he wants to ensure
What does it have to do with Mrs. Puff?
that Mr. Krabs loses the case because he wants to destroy any chance Mrs. Puff has at finding love. So he pretends to be a lawyer, even offering his services for free, something Mr. Krabs can't resist. He makes Mr. Krabs feel confident that they're gonna win the case, and then at the last second, he pretends to get into an accident so he can't represent Mr. Krabs. Instead of finding a real lawyer to replace him, he tells the most incompetent person for the job, SpongeBob, that he has to be Mr. Krabs' lawyer. And he gives him a case that allegedly has all the answers in it without actually giving SpongeBob the combination, setting him up for a total failure in court.
There was Krabby Patty inside of Richard's case that SpongeBob later used to win. But I don't think that was part of his plan. We see Richard and Mrs. Krabs previously discussing their plan to beat Plankton, and Mr. Krabs is later surprised by the Krabby Patty and believes it's just Richard's lunch. If using the Krabby Patty to win was the plan all along, Mr. Krabs would have known. Yeah, that's true.
Richard A. Bottomfeeder refuses to let anyone get close to Mrs. Puff. Not Dorsal Dan, and not Mr. Krabs. This guy has squillion levels of hate for Mrs. Puff. But why? What exactly did her previous student do that warrants this much torture? It can't be something as simple as him or his property getting damaged. It has to be something life-changing. Something like losing a loved one because of the student's reckless driving. And I think the show gives us one last hint about who this might have been. All the pictures of Mrs. Puff's house are very meaningful to her. She's got photos of Mr. Krabs, her pet snail, and of course those infinitely looping photos that tell us so much about her mental state. But there is one more photo in this house that might be the key to this entire conspiracy. In season 12, episode 14, Plankton's Old Chum, we see a photo of someone we've never seen before on Mrs. Puff's wall. There's some surprising similarities between this character and Richard. The green color, the red bow tie, the overall fancy, serious appearance. It clearly isn't the same person, but maybe.
Guess what? The top background education for a prison warden is law. Most prison wardens are former lawyers. Really? I didn't know that.
Maybe this is someone related to Richard, like a father, a son, or a brother that Mrs. Puff's former student killed. And the reason she keeps a photo of him up is to have a permanent reminder to never make the same mistake of giving someone a license who doesn't deserve it.
Wait, so
the overall fancy, serious appearance. It clearly isn't the same person, but maybe this is someone related to Richard, like a father, a son, or a brother that Mrs. Puff's former student killed. And the reason she keeps a photo of him up is to have a permanent reminder to never make the same mistake of giving someone a license who doesn't
made it up.
deserve it.
I believed you.
Mrs. Puff is a boating school teacher who once made a terrible mistake that led to the loss of her business, identity, sanity, and any.
I don't know about the warden part, but I really liked about her new identity. I think it's straight up true. And about her insanity and symbolism of her insanity, I also like that.
Chance at finding happiness. I like to think that there used to be a time when she was happy, back when her husband was still alive. If only he was still around today, maybe she wouldn't have to face all of this on her own. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. Is what I would say if I was done, except her husband is still alive.
Wait, what?
In the SpongeBob movie, SpongeBob and Patrick travel to a gift shop named Shell City that's full of dead fish turned into knickknacks and ornaments. Except they end up setting off the smoke detector, which activates the sprinkler system and brings all the dead fish back to life, including a very familiar looking pufferfish hanging from the ceiling. Mr. Puff is alive. Well, wait a second. If he's alive and he escaped, then why hasn't he gone back to Mrs. Puff? Why is she still alone? Because remember, she ran away from their home in New Kelp City and started a new identity. So sadly, Mr. Puff has no way of finding her. The tragedy.
And she doesn't know that he came to life, and he doesn't know that she started a new life. That's so sad.
Mrs. Puff's story is that her happiness is just a city away, but she can never even leave town because that would violate her parole. Richard A. Bottomfeeder probably even knows her husband is alive and is making sure they're never reunited. As the name says, Richard really is a bottom feeder.
Incredibly excited because we get to talk to the voice of Karen Today, Jill Talley.
I love like trying to make sense out of SpongeBob. My adorable nephew called me up and he just was like, hey, Jill, do you know about this? What do you make of this? Like, what do you think about this Mrs. Puff? And I didn't know what he was talking about. It was like a fever dream because I wasn't aware of all the conspiracy stuff. So all I'm hearing on the phone is criminal, past clues. And I'm going, what is he talking about? I said, I'm going to look into
So
it, Frankie.
cute.
So then I went online and I started looking at it and it was
Oh, wow.
fascinating. I was in. I was going, I want to know too.
That's so funny. That said, that one Jewish character is so evil. Who's Jewish character? And how do you know they're Jewish? Are they religions in SpongeBob? I don't think so.
So, the Mrs. Puff theory. I guess maybe
I like
a few
it.
people might have watched this one. Yeah, so this this is the one that really took off, and for good reason. It's one. Yeah, so this
This is the theory where I officially began the muse ARG. By this point, I had planned the whole getting trapped as the SpongeBob guy arc and had a rough idea of where I want to go with the story. Luckily, the theories continue to get views, but if they suddenly stopped, I had planned on incorporating that into the story somehow.
This is the one that really took off, and for good reason. It's really the one theory where the creators just straight up unambiguously hand us the lore, you know, as opposed to the usual vague details.
Richard Bottom Feeder is a lawyer, therefore Jewish. But how do you know he's Jewish? He didn't say he's Jewish, did he?
And Easter eggs that may or may not be hinting at something, but how does it hold up now? Well, you might be surprised to hear that I'd probably only put it in 4th place. I think the first 2/3 are really strong, and it could have been one of my best theories, but then I kind of go on this weird tangent in the 3rd part with this random background warden character with a bunch of assumptions and a kind of weak final connection to this vaguely similar picture. I think I just really wanted to give this theory more of a sense of closure and a final big twist.
I like that he's
ultimately
honest.
made it feel kind of forced in the end. But
And
I
he
have
sees
since
it.
ended up coming up with so many new ideas and discoveries for this theory that I decided to just make the next mini theory just a straight up Mrs. Puff Part 2. So if we pretend like this new stuff was always part of the theory, I think I'll bump it up to 2nd place where it rightfully belongs. So without further ado, here is the Mrs. Puff theory Part 2.
Ooh! Guys, unfortunately, because I'm drinking beer, I have to pee again. So give me a second, I will go pee again, okay? Right back. Back. Not here. Here. Okay, let's see.
So, there's been a lot of new evidence that's come out about Mrs. Puff since I posted my theory. Some I already added to the main theory, like her real name being discovered, so go watch that if you haven't already. But I saved some really cool discoveries and new ideas just for this mini theory. Like, in Lighthouse Louie, I missed this the first time, but if you look closely in her pile of junk, you can actually see a dead police officer's corpse! Oh my god! Ah! Ah!
No,
Actually, no, this is just an obstacle from her training course. But I bet you didn't know, in Camp Coral, we see her dispose of the real Mrs. Puff's dead body! Also no, this is just a piñata that looks like her. Okay, but they're clearly trying to mess with us at this point. Before I get into the actual new discoveries, I want to talk about some alternative ideas I've come up with for some parts of the Mrs. Puff theory. As I've already said, I'm not the biggest fan of where I took the third part of this theory. I really wanted there to be this big reveal about why the prison is forcing Mrs. Puff to teach SpongeBob, when, in reality, it just makes so much more sense that, like in Doing Time, every time Mrs. Puff sees SpongeBob in jail, she's actually just hallucinating.
Good day, class. I must be having a nightmare.
You know, there's just way more direct evidence in the show to support this, as opposed to this convoluted warden theory. And it's further supported by my new imagination mini theory from earlier in this video. We know the show exists in a world where things you imagine can easily come to life. And Mrs. Puff is constantly...
Camp Coral and the Patrick Star show are not canon. What's Camp Coral? What's Camp Coral and the Patrick Star show? I don't know what you're talking about.
Fear of SpongeBob or the guilt from her past mistakes. So it makes sense that she would get trapped in her own delusions so often. But there's always been this big loose end in my theory that I've always wanted to find a way to wrap up. We know Mrs. Puff prematurely gave a license to one of her previous students in New Kelp City, and that led to the city being destroyed.
Local consensus places the blame on this negligent, selfish driving instructor.
But who was Mrs. Puff's original student before SpongeBob? And while we haven't gotten any new evidence about this, I think I've got two strong candidates for who it could be. One of the best comments I got...
I know them.
Two strong...
This is SpongeBob cousin, and this is the... she was shown before, like, she was also in jail with her.
Candidates for who it could be. One of the best comments I got from the Mrs. Puff video was...
Bro, I almost did
strong candidates for who it could be. One of the...
Could her previous bad student has been SpongeBob's cousin Stanley? He destroys everything he touches and came from out of town. I have a kind of mini theory on who the old student is. I think it might be Stanley, SpongeBob's cousin. He's way more destructive than SpongeBob and probably could have caused the accident with the lawyer, Fish's family member. I also don't think the show has told us where Stanley lives, so he could have lived in New Kelp City. Theory: the previous student was SpongeBob's cousin Stanley, and that's why he destroys everything he touches. It would also explain why SpongeBob is unteachable. Maybe it's the family.
The best comments I got from the Mrs. Puff video was...
Puff Daddy is Snoop Dogg's real name. I think you're saying random shit.
The idea that the original student was actually SpongeBob's cousin, Stanley S. Squarepants.
Hi, Squidward. I'd like you to meet my cousin Stanley. We're related.
There's two of them?
Stanley is a character we meet for only one episode in Season 5. He's SpongeBob's cousin from out of town, and he's extremely accident-prone, even more than SpongeBob. Now, we don't know what town he's from, but we know his Uncle Sherm sent him away because he was too destructive. So he totally fits the idea of Mrs. Puff's former student that probably destroyed New Kelp City. It would also add another layer to why Mrs. Puff is so tortured by SpongeBob specifically. He would literally look and act exactly like her former student.
There's two of them?
So yeah, I think this is totally plausible. Great comment. The only thing that kind of holds this theory back is the lack of any actual concrete connection between Stanley and Mrs. Puff. Like, unfortunately, they're never in the same episode. But I think I have another possible candidate for this mystery student. Someone who we actually see interact with Mrs. Puff. In the Mrs. Puff theory, I theorized that the entire episode Doing Time was all imagined by Mrs. Puff, and everything we see, even small details details like her changing prison uniforms are symbolic for what's really going on inside of her head. But if that's true, then what does this random other prisoner that keeps showing up symbolize?
Hey there, Puff Mama. What's today's grub?
Hi, Donna. It's Chili.
I wouldn't have thought much about it if it wasn't for this very interesting moment where she returns at the end of the episode.
That's interesting.
Oh, it's just my imagination again.
So what's for dinner tonight, Puff Mama? Chili?
I think this could be implying that Donna is Mrs. Puff's original student. We see her driving Mrs. Puff's boat in a free-fall crash, just like her old student probably also did.
Yeah, this makes
And
more
this
sense to
literally gets
me.
replaced by SpongeBob.
So what's for dinner tonight, Puff Mama?
The stand of SpongeBob.
Forget it.
Just like how he actually replaced her original student. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think both Donna and Stanley are pretty
No,
good candidates for
Stanley.
the original student.
Stanley doesn't make sense. Like it just made up. But this makes sense. Just Puff Mama like Puff Daddy. I don't know what you're talking about, bruh.
Stanley is a bit more thematically fitting, but Donna actually has some direct evidence in the show. So yeah, I could see it being either of them. But that's all just tying
No.
up loose ends. The
Stanley?
real reason I decided
No.
to cover Mrs. Puff again in this mini-theory is because of two major new developments in recent SpongeBob episodes. The first is in the season 13 episode, Arbor Day Disarray. In this episode, Sandy gives everyone trees she grew, and we get
Hear
this
music.
scene between Mrs. Puff and her tree.
I love talking to someone who knows how to keep a secret. I can finally tell someone what really happened when I pulled that job in Shell City.
What really happened when I pulled that job in
Shell.
Shell City? They're
No.
still adding more mysteries to solve
Shell City, not Kelp City.
about Mrs. Puff. It sounds like Mrs. Puff did some kind of heist or maybe has some connection to Shell City from the SpongeBob movie. And if you remember, I theorized that Shell City was the place Mr. Puff, her former dead husband, was being held. They end up setting off the smoke detector, which activates the sprinkler system and brings all the dead fish back to life, including a very familiar looking pufferfish hanging from the ceiling. Mr. Puff is alive. So, is it possible this job is somehow related to Mr. Puff? Well, before we get into that, there is one more new development we need to talk about. In the season 14 episode, Hysterical History, for the very first time
SpongeBob's still coming up? Like, are there new episodes still?
ever, we actually do get to definitively see Mr. Puff when he was alive.
Bikini Bottom's own titan of industry, Mr. Puff, ran the first successful boat assembly line.
So, this episode is just a bunch of flashbacks from Bikini Bottom's history, and we learn that Mr. Puff was actually a wealthy businessman who ran a boat factory. And Sandy later confirms that this is all actually true. This isn't just a story SpongeBob made up. Now, Mr. Puff looks and sounds a lot like Mrs.
Murder will
Puff.
never end. So it's still coming out? Damn, I like it. Like, I could just all day lay in bed and watch all the SpongeBob episodes. I would. I could.
Line number 5.
And the other flashbacks in this episode seem to be about Mr. Puff looks and sounds a lot like Mrs. Puff.
Speed up. Line number 5.
And the other flashbacks in this episode seem to be about ancestors of our main characters. So maybe this is actually supposed to be just a relative of Mrs. Puff, not
Maybe-
her dead husband. But remember, Mrs. Puff is not originally from Bikini Bottom, and we know her last name isn't really Puff, it's Blowfish. So this is most likely her former husband, Mr. Puff, before he died. And
Oh, I wanted to
unfortunately,
say maybe it's her dad, but no, it doesn't make sense.
this does seem to disprove my Mr. Puff theory, because he clearly looks very different than the pufferfish we see in Shell City. But even if this pufferfish wasn't Mr. Puff, I don't think I was wrong about Mr. Puff being at Shell City. The fact that he's shown as a dried up, hanging pufferfish with googly eyes is way too similar to be a coincidence. And then there's
Guys, Maybe I'm stupid, but I didn't know it has eyes attached. For some reason, I thought that it's the real eyes. I didn't even think about it. I didn't consider it. I didn't know.
Googly eyes is way too
I didn't know
similar
it has
to be a
googly eyes
coincidence.
attached.
And then there's the fact that they just confirmed Mrs. Puff has some sort of history with Shell City specifically. I think Mr. Puff was abducted and taken to Shell City, but the reason why we don't see him in the SpongeBob movie is probably because he was already sold to someone else by that point, meaning he was unfortunately never saved by SpongeBob. So
Is it not the
that leaves us
same?
with one final question. What was the job Mrs. Puff pulled at Shell City, and what does it have to do with her husband's death? Well,
What takes place before this thing, or maybe she saved her husband in the Shell City, and this is why he wasn't there then.
well, my first guess is that this job was some sort of rescue mission to save Mr. Puff from Shell City, and she failed. But listen to how she talks about it.
I can finally tell someone what really happened when I pulled that job in Shell City.
Whatever happened at Shell City, she's happy about it. In fact, it's kind of a sinister, nefarious happiness.
What really happened when I pulled that job?
She's not devastated that her husband was lost forever. She's
Maybe she
happy about it.
did
I
it.
never really considered
Where
this
is he?
before, but could Mrs. Puff actually be responsible for her husband's death? Did Mrs. Puff kill her husband? I mean, we know Plankton sold Neptune's crown to Shell City.
I just wanted to say thanks again for selling me the crown. I sold it to a guy in Shell City.
So it does seem possible to arrange for this kind of thing to happen. And Arbor Day Disarray ends with Mrs. Puff's tree ratting her out to the police.
Hello, police department? I got a lead on that Shell City job.
I gotta go.
Why would the Bikini Bottom police care about something she did at a human gift shop? I mean, they didn't care when SpongeBob stole from there. The only explanation is that she wasn't stealing from humans, she was giving them something, or someone, from Bikini Bottom. Mr. Puff.
Scary!
Mrs. Puff arranged for fishermen to kidnap and kill her husband. That's what really happened at Shell City. But
that's crazy.
why? Well, other than Mr. Puff kind of seeming like a jerk who mistreats his employees, he's also very wealthy, which means that when he died,
But
in a
she's
way
not.
that can't be traced back to Mrs. Puff, as his wife, she would inherit his money. Which explains how Mrs. Puff, who previously had to abandon her entire life and start over from scratch in Bikini Bottom, could afford to open a massive boating school. Maybe this was her
Ooh.
plan all along. Get close to some rich jerk, marry him, and then have him killed to inherit his money. These little breadcrumbs they've given us have told us so much more about Mrs. Puff's past. But also, maybe, just maybe, her future as well. Mr. Puff was portrayed as a greedy, unethical capitalist who only cared about money, even at the expense of his employees. And does that remind you of anyone else in Mrs. Puff's life?
Mr. Crab!
Unhand that penny or the arm comes off. Keep on trucking, SpongeBob.
How could you trade SpongeBob for 62 cents?
You think I could have gotten more?
If she did it to Mr. Puff, who's to say she's not planning to do it again to Mr. Krabs?
Is she? Capitalism is great. American is talking.
Maybe this is the entire reason why she's dating him. Let's just hope Mr. Krabs isn't planning on getting married anytime soon. The imaginary doppelganger Mr. Krabs, that is. And that is
Yeah.
the Mrs. Puff theory, part 2.
Okay, we don't have. First of all, maybe she killed him for other reasons, not because he's capitalist. Like, if you don't like someone being capitalist, then don't marry him. But I don't. We have no proof that she will kill Mr. Krabs, so I think we can chill about that. Further conspiracy for the evolution. What? The evolution theory. Ooh, interesting. That's probably gonna be the
Are
last one for
Bikini Bottom
today.
citizens the result of nuclear radiation?
That might be the last one for today because tomorrow I have a wedding. Not my wedding. And I have to wash my hair. The reason why I have it tied up is because... Tied up? I don't know. It's because they are not washed yet. And I have to, you know, shave, get ready, everything to tomorrow be pretty. So, and it's after 9 p.m. for me. Eshkoi when? It's probably gonna be a secret. I don't know if I will tell you. When I will tell you afterwards. I will tell you like, guys, we're married, whatever.
Who is Pearl's mother?
Oh, that's the recurring question. Yeah, many people ask about that.
Is the
Because she... I think she's adopted or something, right?
Krabby Patty's secret formula? These are the result of nuclear radiation.
Okay.
Are the Bikini Bottom citizens the result of nuclear radiation?
Oh, I know this theory.
Who is Pearl's mother? What is the Krabby Patty's secret formula? These are by far the 3 biggest questions in the show SpongeBob SquarePants. And today, I'm going to be answering all 3 of them and more with just one theory. Get ready for the darkest SpongeBob conspiracy you'll ever see. This is the evolution theory.
What evolution has to do with all of this? That's why you have the right to privacy. Yeah. Yeah. The Bikini Atoll theory.
By far, the most popular SpongeBob theory out there is the Bikini Atoll nuclear radiation theory. It's pretty simple. It's been confirmed that Bikini Bottom is actually beneath a real-life place called Bikini Atoll. From 1946 to 1958, the United States did nuclear tests there, devastating the area and leaving it radioactive even to this day. The theory states that the reason why the citizens of Bikini Bottom can talk and have formed advanced societies is because of mutations caused by these nuclear tests. And that's about the whole theory. Even though there's tons and tons of videos about it, none of them actually go in depth with it or really look through the show for evidence, but y'all know that if Alex Bale is making a theory on it, then it's not going to be some baby surface level analysis. And once I really started looking into this theory, I realized that there is so much more here than anyone thinks. Get ready, because today we're going to be solving the biggest mysteries in the history of...
Wait, am I subscribing to this guy? I have to subscribe. You subscribe, guys, to
SpongeBob SquarePants and changing the way you look at the entire show. So without further ado, let's begin the theory. In order to find out whether the Bikini Atoll theory is true, we first have to determine...
I always thought the town name was a dirty joke. Yeah, I mean, it is, but it is an island called Bikini, and they show an island every time. It's like under the island happening. Bikini, the island is Bikini, and like Bikini Bottom.
Whether fish
like
talking
double
and
joke.
being so intelligent is unique to Bikini Bottom, or if that's just the way the SpongeBob universe works. You know, it could just be that all animals in this world are able to talk, and that's...
It's not only in Bikini Bottom that they talk, because there are other cities like Kelp City or this crazy like the one from the first season city, and they're also like talking. But in this city from first season, they were talking in some... I don't remember. Like they had their language and SpongeBob couldn't understand them.
Completely normal because at the end of the day, SpongeBob is still just a cartoon. Well, if we take a look at Season 10, Episode 10, Feral Friends, we get a bit of a hint about how the SpongeBob world works. In this episode, a green moon appears and transforms all the characters into less cartoony, real-life versions of themselves.
SpongeBob? Patrick?
Just like in real life, they can't talk and end up trying to eat each other. The French narrator is watching all this unfold, and he says this very important line.
I have been monitoring the behavior of the green moon all day. It is called Neptune's moon. Every 100 years, it de-evolves everyone in Bikini Bottom into primal fish.
Every 100 years, it de-evolves everyone in Bikini Bottom into primal fish. So this implies that the characters in Bikini Bottom are more evolved and were once like these primal fish.
I know more evolved or less evolved are exactly scientific terms, when it comes to evolution, but I think they're fine for the purposes of this theory where we're speculating about a fictional supernatural magic evolution. Yeah, I allow it.
But this doesn't prove that the evolution only exists in Bikini Bottom. It could still be a worldwide
Sandy
phenomenon.
is
Remember
also
that
talking
bonus
animal.
DVD clip I found in my television theory? It was about humans studying fish in Bikini Bottom because of their intelligence.
Land-loving scientists have tried to learn the secrets of intelligence. Their studies led them to the sea, where the citizens of one undersea colony demonstrated a genius so enormous, the scientists felt compelled to record their actions for use in teaching mankind how to live better.
This makes it sound an awful lot like the fish in Bikini Bottom actually are uniquely evolved and it's not some worldwide phase. Then, in the SpongeBob 20-year anniversary special, SpongeBob's Big Birthday Blowout, we get a major piece of evidence for this theory. SpongeBob and Patrick take a tour of the surface world and eventually go to a fish store and see some very realistic, less evolved fish.
What kind of monsters would want to keep fish folk in jail like this? They're so beautiful.
They can't talk back to SpongeBob and Patrick, and they're actually able to swim freely through the water instead of being affected by gravity. They are clearly showing us that both evolved and primitive fish exist in this universe at the same time. Now, sometimes we've seen Bikini Bottom characters represented as realistic fish like this, but only when they're out of water, never while they're still in water like these fish. We even see this again in the beginning of the third SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run. The movie opens with a coral reef full of these realistic primal fish, but eventually we get to Bikini Bottom where the more evolved fish live. So there you go, direct proof that the citizens of Bikini Bottom are uniquely evolved. This is a very deliberate world building choice for the creators to make.
Oh, many people ask, what about Sandy?
Are uniquely evolved. This is a very deliberate...
I've never had a good answer for this. I can't find any conclusive evidence of a land animal that isn't able to talk. So it's possible everyone on land is more evolved somehow. I thought about it and I think Sandy was a spy from humans, right? So I think maybe, you know, they studied there and they scientifically evolved Sandy so she could be a spy here. You know, that makes more sense, no?
World building choice for the creators to make. So I guess that kind of confirms the Bikini Atoll theory. Theory confirmed! We did it! Woo! Well, let's hold on for a second. As much as I'd love to call this theory complete, there's actually one major piece of evidence that gives me some resistance. Something I've never seen anyone else bring up when talking about this theory. Prehistoric Bikini Bottom.
Yes!
We've seen episodes like UGG or SB129 that show Bikini Bottom millions of years in the past, but we
These episodes are creepy, by the way.
still see evolved versions of SpongeBob and Patrick. Sure, they may not be super intelligent or advanced, but they're still clearly way more evolved than the primitive, realistic versions we see in Feral Friends or in the fish store. So, how are we seeing these evolutions millions of years before the Bikini Atoll tests? Well, unfortunately, I think the only conclusion is that the Bikini Atoll theory just isn't true. I mean, clearly something has caused Bikini Bottom citizens to be uniquely evolved, there's no denying that. But whatever caused it took place millions of years ago and couldn't have been the Bikini Atoll nuclear tests. Then, what really caused the evolution? In the entire show, the only thing we've seen that directly affects the evolution of characters is the Green Moon and Feral Friends. Except the French narrator specifically calls it Neptune's moon.
It is called Neptune's moon.
SB129 made me think I was dreaming as a kid. Yeah, it was a fever dream. It was really like I don't remember it like completely, but it was a fever dream for sure.
Named after the ruler of the seven seas, King Neptune. King Neptune is a character who's been around since the beginning of the sea. He's a character who the Bikini Bottom citizens view as their god, and he's a character who has the ability to change fish into other forms.
Oh, he changed here.
What the? Oops.
King Neptune used his magic to turn the fish of the sea into more evolved subjects for him to rule over. He's the one who's been behind it all this time. Hey, Alex from the future here. So before I move on, let's talk a little more about the Bikini Atoll theory. A lot of people really wanted this theory to be true, and I get it. This is like the most iconic, classic SpongeBob theory. And the comment I got the most on this theory was the idea that the prehistoric Bikini Bottom that disproves the Bikini Atoll theory doesn't actually take place millions of years ago. It's actually the fallout directly.
I was thinking the same thing. I didn't want to say it because he said like million years ago, and I was thinking, what if it wasn't a million years ago? maybe in, you know, what is year? Maybe in their scale under the water, what they measuring, maybe millions years is something else than our million years. And I was thinking maybe this is after the nuclear attack. And I was thinking it, I swear. Oh no, he'll make fish into white people. Or just into people.
After the Bikini Atoll tests, when life first started to mutate and evolve in Bikini Bottom. And that's a cool idea, you know, it's a cool way to maybe keep the Bikini Atoll theory. But here's the thing, the narrator actually says it takes place millions of years ago.
It is here that millions of years ago, life began taking its first clumsy steps out of the darkness.
Okay.
And we see a dinosaur flying above the sea. I'm sorry, this just...
Actually, I think dinosaurs were not on Earth millions of years ago, no? Can someone correct me? I think millions of years ago there was no dinosaurs.
Has to be from the actual prehistoric age millions of years ago. Alright, but here's another comment I got. If this show's all supposed to be a television theory documentary, how were they able to get this footage from millions of years ago? Well, in SB129,
Imagination.
Squidward time travels back to the prehistoric age.
This is the scariest episode.
And obviously the cameraman came with him, otherwise we wouldn't be able to watch the episode. So unfortunately, no matter how you look at it, there's no way this episode with evolved fish wasn't actually millions of years before the Bikini Atoll tests. I'm sorry guys, the Bikini Atoll theory just can't.
I still kinda think it might be true though. Like this is from when my dad was a kid and the world was black and white, right?
Can't be true. Or at least that's what I thought, until I recently rewatched the season 10 episode Lost and Found. This episode takes place entirely beneath the Krusty Krab. And if you remember, beneath the Krusty Krab is where the filmmakers store secret behind-the-scenes stuff, like the surveillance room filming the characters, or even props used in the SpongeBob movie. But while SpongeBob is trying to get back upstairs, he passes through this area.
Lost World.
A massive underwater prehistoric area that even has dinosaurs despite it being underwater. The only explanation I can think of for this is, like everything else we see down here, this is a fake set created by the showrunners for an episode of SpongeBob. Meaning, the prehistoric Bikini Bottom episodes we see are most likely faked by the showrunners, and the Bikini Atoll theory could still be true. Also, to further prove this, in a new season 14 episode, Hysterical History,
I don't know how to... And... I wanted to stop video. And maybe they don't want to, like, creators, like, you know, creators of the show that are recording it and making the show of SpongeBob from the TV theory. Maybe they don't know, they don't want the truth to be told. Like that there is because of the nuclear, because they are from America, and maybe they are like ashamed of it, or like some kind of propaganda or something. And they don't want to show that, oh, it's because of our mistakes our country made. So, you know, they try to, oh, it's just evolution, it was million years ago, blah blah blah, maybe something like that. They invented color when my grandparents started being adults. Oh, it's depends where. My parents still have black and white photos from their childhood. Even they have in sepia. So in Poland, when my parents were kids, there were still black and white photos.
we get another flashback to prehistoric Bikini Bottom, but it's sort of implied to be at the same time as humans existing. So yeah, really seems like the Bikini Atoll theory is plausible now. I still think both theories for why the fish are evolved work pretty well. Neptune's moon actually shows us some
But the first one is more cool.
Direct evidence of fish becoming more or less evolved, but the actual Bikini Atoll test footage being used throughout the show doesn't really feel like a coincidence to me either. Either of them fit the theory. I like them both. You could just choose your favorite. Let's get back to the theory.
First
now,
one.
I have an interesting question for you. What is the relationship between evolved fish and primitive unevolved fish? Well, they probably just peacefully coexist in the sea without bothering each other. You know, just like real-life humans and animals. Wait a second.
The war.
I also have some new thoughts on the war theory, but I'm gonna save them for the next mini theory. I promise not all these mini theories are like Mrs. Puff Part 2s, but a lot of them kind of build off of the previous theory. In Season 3, Episode 10, the Krusty Krab training video, there is this hilarious, absurd moment when they're talking about Mr. Krabs.
After the war, Krabs stayed secluded in a deep depression that seemed endless.
Like, what war happened in Bikini Bottom? They just tell us this and then completely drop it. But with this new context, is it possible that Krabs fought in a war against these primitive, wild fish of the sea? I mean, let's remember in Feral Friends, some of those de-evolved fish were massive compared to the evolved
Okay, but animals don't have really concept of war, right?
fish, and they immediately started attacking each other.
The battle for the survival of the fittest rages on in the animal kingdom.
So yeah, in order for the Bikini Bottom citizens to survive and expand, they would probably break into some kind of war. And from the sounds of it, this war must have been pretty brutal to put Mr. Krabs into such a deep depression. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Is there actually any evidence that proves the war Mr. Krabs fought in was specifically this evolutionary war? Well, through the few flashbacks we get, we know that Mr. Krabs served in the Navy. And yes, they were sailing ships on an ocean, even though they're already underwater. This is actually a real-life phenomenon where certain parts of the sea can have a higher level of salinity, and it looks like an underwater ocean. Shout out Miss Parks, my high school marine biology teacher. We also know from maps of Bikini Bottom that the town is surrounded by this underwater ocean. So that places Mr. Krabs' war...
So there can be like water underwater.
Outside of Bikini Bottom, where this evolutionary war would have to take place. Then if we take a look at Mr. Krabs' home, we see it is full of memorabilia from his past days in the Navy. But hidden within here is something that will absolutely blow your mind.
I'll find it, I'll find it, I'll find it. Something that will blow my mind is this thing. Photo from the past. Yep. I don't know.
And answer one of the biggest questions in the show. Hanging there on his wall is a picture of a massive whale next to a ship. You don't think that could be... No, it can't be.
I guessed it.
Pearl's mother?
Wait, I want to see it. I want to find it. Hold up. The things that got my eye right now are the
Oh,
fish
he did the same thing.
This actual person on the wall.
No,
I
found
whale. There's a whale. Is it the whale?
Hanging there on his wall.
The whale?
Is a picture of a massive whale next to
The
it.
whale!
I guessed it too.
Pearl's mom! I got it! I got it!
Pearl is Mr. Krabs' whale daughter. The show
Was me
never
too,
really
I also
explains how
got it.
Krab can be the father of a whale, but most people just assume she was adopted. People have been speculating about who Pearl's biological mother is for years, and I think we finally just found our answer. We see 2 photos of this whale on a ship in Season 3, Episode 9, just 1 episode before we find out Mr. Krabs fought in a war. Since this is among all of Mr. Krabs' Navy stuff, I think we can assume that this is something he encountered and not just some random picture of a whale on a ship above the ocean. The whale is massive compared to the ship. We've seen adult whales in Bikini Bottom before, but they are nothing compared to the size of this whale. This has a much closer resemblance to Pearl when she de-evolved in Feral Friends and became massive. So this has to be an unevolved primitive whale, and the picture clearly shows them fighting. Not only does this prove that there was a war between evolved and primitive fish, but Mr. Krabs definitely fought in it. But this...
How it proves that there was a war. Hi, Duck Boy. Hi, hello. We are watching this video about SpongeBob conspiracy theories. Yeah. It's about SpongeBob lore. Right now it's about Pearl's mother. So there is like things of Mr. Krabs. This is his room. Kilo. And this is a photo. And he suspects it's Pearl's mom. And before it was, you know, that like villagers of Bikini Bottom are like more evolved than other animals, and there is a proof that normal animals animals live in ocean also. And this guy speculates that there was a war between normal animals and more developed animals, because because in one episode they said that Mr. Krabs was was in a war sometime. But I don't think this photo proves that there was a war. He says that it proves it, but it doesn't prove. It proved that there was a normal whale, and it might be Pearl's mother, but I don't think it proves the war. He killed Pearl's mom? Maybe.
Of whale, and the picture clearly shows them fighting. Not only does this to be an unevolved primitive.
Yeah, but fighting with ship. Were they using ships?
When she de-evolved in feral friends and became.
Oh yeah, he works at the ship.
So this has to be an unevolved primitive whale, and the picture clearly shows them fighting. Not only does this prove that there was a war between evolved and primitive fish, but Mr. Krabs definitely fought in it. But this also implies something very dark. Mr. Krabs killed Pearl's mother.
You said it. Is it real? Okay.
The only direct reference we get in the show to Pearl's mother is one of Mr. Krabs' many sayings.
We're finishing soon, though.
Mother of Pearl! Mother of Pearl! Holy Mother of Pearl!
He uses it in places something like holy crap or dear God, only saying it when something truly shocking or terrible happens, because he knows the terrible thing that happened to Pearl's mother. Why did Mr. Krabs go into such a deep depression after the war? Because he's haunted by what he's done.
Okay, I believe that the whale on the picture is she's her mother, but I don't think it proves that there was a war between them, and I don't think it proves that he killed her.
And the smoking harpoon to prove it is right there on his wall.
And he has the harpoon on his wall, dude!
So, that leaves us with an important question. Why did he adopt Pearl? After he killed her mother, he probably realized she had an infant daughter who had the evolutionary genes. Instead of leaving her to die, he adopted her as his own, all while keeping the dark secret that he was—
Why did she have evolutionary genes, though? It's all not really like adding up super well to me.
Responsible for her mother's death.
You know? What do you think, guys?
So I obviously just very quickly skimmed over the fact that for some reason Pearl is evolved, but Pearl's mother isn't, and I didn't really provide a good explanation for this.
But what if the mom whale was a normal whale and had a whale baby? Then why would it have been Pearl? Like, she's the evolved form, right? No, that's convenient. She just happened to be evolved. Okay.
That's what
Honestly,
I'm
at
saying.
the time, I didn't really have one. But I think I may have a possible explanation now. Whatever caused this evolution, whether it was magic from King Neptune or radiation from nuclear tests, you know, whatever it is, we know it happened only within a specific range. So you could hypothetically have a mother and daughter whale, and only one of them was within range of whatever caused this evolution. You know, it would be nice if there was more evidence in the actual show to explain this, but I think this works as a simple way to explain the logistics of it.
I don't buy it. Sorry, no.
Ruined yet? Well, don't worry. There's still time for this theory to get even worse. Now's your chance to remove yourself before things get really dark.
Trigger warning. The part where things get really dark?
Still here? Okay, so here's a fun question. What's the deal with all the pets in Bikini Bottom? How come most fish are basically humans, but a snail or a worm acts like a pet? Well, just like humans have domesticated wild animals, it should be no surprise that evolved fish
we can bear
primitive
it.
fish as pets. Unlike the massive primitive fish that the Bikini Bottom citizens had to go to war with, there's also smaller primitive fish like jellyfish, snails, spirit worms, seahorses, and clams that the Bikini Bottom citizens were able to form a symbiotic relationship with. Aw, and I thought you said this was gonna be the dark part, Alex. They're living peacefully together. That's nice. Okay, you got me. Here's another fun question. Where do the citizens of Bikini Bottom get their food? I mean, sure, some of it is plant-based, but there sure does seem to be an awful lot of meat-based food under the sea. I think you know where I'm going with this. The Bikini Bottom citizens eat primitive fish. Haha, it's not cannibalism if they're less evolved than you, right? There's no moral dilemma there.
Sure, technically. I didn't.
It's not cannibalism if they're less evolved than you, right? There's no
Sure, technically fish eat fish in real life, but I still think it's touchy subject in Bikini Bottom. Look up quasi-gummy chewy candy fish on YouTube for proof.
Moral dilemma there.
I mean, what the f else are they gonna eat? Sand?
In Season 3, Episode 13, we see direct proof of this when the characters go fishing for primitive clams. This is something completely normal in this world. And then there's the chum bucket, which sells chum. Chum. Chum is literally just ground up fish. The show isn't even hiding this. Now, we don't really see too much of the meat harvesting side of Bikini Bottom, and I'm not surprised they're keeping it on the DL, you know, with the whole cannibalism thing, but there is one secret to making food that is kept more secret than anything in Bikini Bottom. The best kept secret in the entire show. You already know what I'm gonna say. The Krabby Patty secret formula. Throughout the show, there's been lots of contradictory evidence about the Krabby Patty secret formula. In Season 4, throughout the show...
Okay, this... I have to be honest. This burger doesn't look yummy. This meat, it doesn't look like a good beef meat, you know. Do you also feel that way? Like, this meat doesn't feel like it will be yummy. But when I was watching SpongeBob as a kid, I always wanted to try Krabby Patty.
There's been lots of contradictory evidence about the Krabby Patty secret formula. In Season 4, Episode 7, Mr. Krabs says it's an old family recipe.
Your mother knows the Krabby Patty formula? Of course she does! It's an old Krabs family recipe!
But in Season 5, Episode 1, apparently Mr. Krabs discovered it on his own by accidentally mixing random ingredients together.
Love Siri Lead 2. Go to the Patrick Star Show. 1-8 Terror at 20,000 leagues at 4:42. There's something familiar inside of the witch's cabinet. If this flashback is true, then is there something supernatural about the Krabby Patty? Is the baked burger for commercials the real one? Yeah, it doesn't. But it's supposed to look yummy, like, but it does, right? But it doesn't.
I've done it! I discovered the perfect patty batter!
Sometimes it's a secret formula, sometimes it's a book, sometimes it's a secret...
Perfect patty batter? It's super, like, shouldn't it be just meat? Like, what's the word? Ground meat?
Sauce, and any glimpse we get at the formula is just random nonsense. There is a ton of contradictory evidence out there, but I think this might all be intentional.
Adding something
in order
more.
to throw people off, Mr. Krabs has spread misinformation about the Krabby Patty formula. In fact, he's already done this in Season 3, Episode 18, by hiding a fake formula for Plankton to find that says he's the secret ingredient.
Mixed together with the most important ingredient of all, 4 heaping pounds of freshly ground plankton?
That's
and the
scary.
contradictions aren't just inside the show. Even one of the SpongeBob crew members once said that Krabby Patties are vegetarian and contain no meat. But I've always been a little suspicious about what the creators say. They've also said that they're not allowed to show fish as food.
But misinformation.
They clearly do with chum, clam fishing, and all the many, many gags where fish turn into food. It's almost like they're not allowed by Nickelodeon to publicly acknowledge this because that could create a controversy, but they could still sneak this dark secret into the show. So, what is the true secret ingredient?
What would be a controversy? That it's made of fish?
Where does the meat really come from? It's strange, we never really see Mr. Krabs get the meat delivered, or at least go out himself to get it. It's almost like he has all the meat he needs.
I mean, it's not that dark. I expected something more.
What can Mr. Krabs have access to? Maybe he's been holding on to something from the war. What could Mr. Krabs have killed during the war that he doesn't want anyone to find out about? Something big enough to supply him with meat for years without...
It would be...
What could that
No, it would be over by now.
Oh, no.
Like, from all the years now.
Wait.
What could that be?
No!
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Really gonna make me say it? Mr.
No.
Krabs is using Pearl's dead mother's carcass to make Krabby Patties. Woo! We did it! Yeah!
No, like, I get it. Okay, yes, Sam, hi. Okay, so now the theory was that Mr. Krabs uses a Pearl's mom body for Krabby Patties, but I don't support this theory because I know the whale is big ass, but it would be finished by now. Like, it's not infinite meat. Like, through the years and years, and remember how many Squidward ate in this one episode? Do you know what else is big? The ocean. That's true. Maybe it's made of the ocean. I mean, it might be done from real fishes, but I don't think it's from the whale.
Celebrating this.
They're not doubting it.
Episode 15, Sleepy Time. Mr. Krabs has a dream that he's on a boat fishing for a massive dollar. This is his memory of killing Pearl's mother, except now all he sees her as is money. And take a guess what name he calls the dollar.
What you doing, Mr. Krabs?
I'm picking Neptune's bucket.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about cold hard flipping cash. It's the mighty Moby Dollar.
Moby Dollar. A direct reference to Moby Dick, a story about hunting a whale. Are you kidding me? And that is the evolution theory. Eugene Krabs' aspirations for money and
Season 1 is on Paramount Plus of SpongeBob.
greed have caused him to do terrible, terrible things. At least his love for Pearl seems to be real, so maybe there's some small amount of good in him. And even though Pearl's mother probably provides tons of meat,
I wonder how he will judge this theory himself, because I feel some of it is interesting. I mean, half of this theory is really interesting, and half of it is like, he flew away, you know? I'm not sure you can catch a whale with a fishing rod. Have you tried, though?
he's gonna run out and he'll have to face what he's done. Well, unless of course there's another whale he has access to. Nope. Nope. No. No.
Okay, too
Mr. Krabs
far.
wouldn't
He
do that.
loves
He
her.
loves Pearl. He's not just raising her for Krabby Patty meat. Even Mr. Krabs isn't that much of a monster.
From every side I've ever seen to the sweetest sound I've heard, I'd gladly give up everything for all the money that I've earned.
Huh.
Baby, you got something in your nose.
But with that attitude.
No!
They are not doubting everything. They're just like, no, don't say it. Think a little bit. It doesn't make sense.
Well, alrighty then, that's the end of that theory. Just gonna end it here before there's any more dark plot twists. Okay, so a lot of people had issues with the Pearl's mother Krabby Patty theory. Specifically, the realism and logic behind how just one whale could create enough Krabby Patty meat for so many years. But listen, I don't make these theories using real-world logic. I try and use the show's own internal logic. But if you want to bring real-world logic into this and argue about
I think it's not only real world logic that thinks like has an end, like it's not infinite. I think in SpongeBob world, there's also not think as infinite money glitch.
How long whale meat would last, I think the real world actually supports my theory. When a whale dies in the real world ocean, it has a very profound effect on the environment. Entire marine ecosystems will form around a decomposing whale corpse, and scavengers can feed off of it for up to 50 years. This is a phenomenon called whale fall. And this explains why total chaos breaks out whenever Bikini Bottom runs out of Krabby Patties.
The Krabby Patty is what ties us all together, and without it, there will be a complete breakdown of social order.
Aren't you overreacting a bit?
Welcome to the apocalypse, Mr. Squidward.
Just like a real whale fall, the ecosystem of Bikini Bottom is completely dependent on it. Also, another YouTuber, Athena P, pointed out to me that there's this moment in a newer episode of The Patrick Star Show.
This episode addresses Alex Bale's Krabby Patties are made from Pearl's mother theory pretty directly.
I'm Eugene Krabs. Krabby Patties are made with whale oil.
You leave my daughter out of this.
So that's that's something. I mean, take that as you will.
Okay,
So, yeah,
maybe I
Pearl's
start to
mother
believe it
Krabby
more.
Patty theory is solid. It's at least better than that crab meat theory that people won't stop commenting about. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna quickly debunk that theory because I know people are still gonna comment about it on this video. Here's an extra bonus mini theory, just because this theory annoys me so much.
Okay.
So, a lot of people think that Krabby Patties are actually made of crab meat, and Mr. Krabs is going around killing all the crabs in Bikini Bottom. This is the comment I will get for the rest of my life.
It's crab meat.
Actual crab? I mean, why else would Mr. Krabs be the only crab in Bikini Bottom? Except for his mom, and his dad, and his nephews. Okay, but there's no crabs outside of his family, except for this guy, and this doctor, and this kid, and these two crabs, and this circus guy. But besides them, there's no crabs in Bikini Bottom. Okay, even if there is not, like, a lot of crabs, there's equally not a lot of sponges, or starfish, or pufferfish, or squirrels in Bikini Bottom. Bikini Bottom is like 90% generic fish. But then why is it named the Krusty Krab? Because
he's a crab.
And that's his last name. But even if we ignore that, it's like, why would Mr. Krabs advertise his dark secret as the name of his restaurant? But then why is the Krusty Krab shaped like a crab trap? Okay, this is actually the one good piece of evidence in this theory. I think it's a little ambiguous whether it's supposed to be a crab trap or a lobster trap. So I did some digging, and Patchy actually calls it a lobster trap in a SpongeBob DVD bonus.
The Krusty Krab looks like a New England-style lobster trap, but now
Lobster
it
trap.
traps the pocket change of Bikini Bottom's hungry denizens.
They also find a very similar-looking building in Camp Coral and call it a lobster trap.
Oh no! We've walked into a real life lobster trap!
I could maybe see this evidence kind of working, but you'd kind of expect if this was their secret intention, they would like call it a crab trap, you know? But what about the scene where Mr. Krab eats one and he says that it tastes like him?
So that's what I taste like.
This is supposed to be the smoking gun piece of evidence that's all over TikTok, but nobody actually shows the clip with context.
Mommy, my Krabby Patty tastes funny.
Well, no wonder. It's all old and dried out, like that man right there. Now put that thing where it belongs, in the garbage.
Oh.
Well, little Patty, we're two of a kind. We've both lost our luster.
Okay.
So that's what I taste like.
Mr. Krabs says the patty tastes like him because the
Took
lady
out of
called the patty old and dry
context.
like him. And he's been feeling insecure about his age in this episode. Like, I'm not saying the Pearl's mom theory is the best theory ever, but it's better than this shit. Come on.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's see how he will judge it.
Evolution theory. I know I like to call each of my theories the darkest theory I've ever made, but like, this is the actual darkest one. We all know it. This is some sick, twisted shit. I think this theory has its flaws and relies on a couple big assumptions, but at the end of the day, it's still just so entertaining and interesting to me that I'd probably still put it right in the middle at 4th place, even after all the corrections and alternative ideas. This next mini theory is also kind of an extension to the evolution theory, but it's also
I would maybe give it a little more down, but
about the history
it's
of Bikini
interesting.
Bottom and the true purpose of the show. Let's get into it.
Okay. We will finish it later. Okay, guys?